theoretically it should be good to go. Just making it public.
Cool. Awesome. All right. So I guess, CJ, if you already have it all open, maybe do you want to do this part? Because I've never gone through the setup either, so I think we're both going to be.
I haven't either, but I have
blind.
I read like the first 2 steps of the docs.
Yeah, you probably know more than me at this point.
I can also share.
Cool. And I can take over later if we want to set up more of like the integration stuff.
Sure. Share screen. I missed the button. Probably this one. Okay. So I did it actually to both repos. So let's see. So apparently in this code tab, there's this like, now there's local and code spaces. You can see, you can't see. Now you can see. Hopefully. So there's this like local and code spaces tab. And I guess if you just hit code space, no idea what's going to happen.
Nice. We're finding out.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's going to clone this repo is my guess.
Yeah.
I don't know how I invite more people. I don't know how this really works, but
I think we might see that code space listed there. I'm double checking.
Yeah, like Safari. Maybe I hate Safari.
It's possible. So you did this on the honeycombs repo, right?
Yes.
I'm only seeing the option for creating a new one. Same thing that you just did.
Yeah, I'm not even seeing that, but I am seeing a GitHub CLI clone now, which I didn't before. I don't know if that's related though.
What happens if I just, okay, well, this is.
Try maybe sending us that URL.
I'm going to send you this URL, yeah. It does not like Safari, as far as I can tell, because it opens perfectly fine in my.
Does not surprise me.
Why does everything hate Safari? It makes me really sad.
Yeah. Safari really is like the new IE.
Yeah.
Forgotten, misunderstood.
The only thing is it doesn't use any battery, which is fantastic.
I know, that's why it's so good.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because it's like
more efficient.
404.
Yeah.
This URL 404 is for me because I think it's your code space. So I wonder if you actually have to independently share this code space with the rest of us. Might be on a different level than the repo itself. What does that change preview security settings in the top right menu?
This is like just some
it's content level stuff.
Maybe manage or this.
Yeah. That icon
You'd think it would be pretty easy to invite people, because isn't that the point? To share?
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if we're looking at the right thing. Like, was CodeSpaces the actual product, or was it something
I was wondering.
similarly titled?
That's what I was wondering too.
Because
this might just be.
Good.
I was just gonna say this might just be like personal.
And
yeah, like basically like
a
Docker in the cloud or something, just a consistent environment.
Yeah, the thing is though that like VS Code has a layer where you can independently like collaborate with somebody else who has VS Code. I'm wondering if these systems are like independent or they've like wrapped them together. Because another route to do what we're trying to do here would be to have a VS Code session that's just running and then pair to that from our VS Code sessions. Might be a little more manual config, but it should be like doable. Also, Dave, your profile photo just
I know it keeps changing.
What happened? What's going on?
Profile photo?
It was a Cyclops, Dave, for a minute.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was like,
that's the photo that
seeing
when
that
we
right?
first met. that I remember you by, because you had just gotten, not the Cyclops one, the one that's up now, where you're a clean cut nice boy.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Sorry, I didn't. I didn't think about it showing up on there.
I thought it was on purpose. You were just having fun.
There may have been a little of that. All right.
Well, apparently there's this live share extension, which might be it.
Yeah,
don't know
I
if
think that's what it was called.
Is that what it
That
is?
sounds right. Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. Uh,
That's
From Microsoft
So this
too.
just as a, yeah.
Seems official. Legit.
seems, yeah.
I mean, it's been downloaded almost 1 million times. That's crazy.
Do we each need to install this thing and then?
I believe so.
think so.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait to download it until you guys have downloaded it.
Reasonable.
Well, I don't
We
want the
got
whole
it.
thing to crash, and I don't know how much.
Yeah.
This icon looks so not legit though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like a Microsoft
5 million
icon.
downloads on that one.
Yeah, the other one
1990.
was just the extension pack, and then I guess it installs the real thing as part of it.
Weird.
Yeah,
Or
there's audio.
one. Yeah.
Audio.
Oh, so that installs the whole shebang.
Oh, sure. GitHub. Sure.
Oh, wait.
Yes. You can do whatever you want with my data, I guess.
They don't really give you an option. You either
Yeah.
get to do the thing, give them everything,
Yeah.
or you don't.
Suggested contacts. Wow, it looks like it can even.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I guess
It's like Skype.
one.
It's so funny. It looks like it's like the Skype thing.
Well, they own Skype.
Cool. That's so funny. Oh gosh, Microsoft sometimes.
Yeah. One backup plan here,
fuck's
in case like all of this falls through, is Replit, because they are kind of more of a self-contained solution to all of this. But I've definitely done the collab stuff in their environment too.
Will it work for like a
But I
project
don't think it
of
says like
this size?
In what sense? You mean like the fact that it's an XJS app? I think so, because they seem to like really pitch the just bring your Python or JavaScript or like etc. projects right into our environment. We're gonna
Okay. Interesting.
it's more native.
Invite others, copy link. I guess I can do this. Hopefully that works.
Wow. There's like 4 subdomains on this URL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Live share, Vizinga Ganagas, and Visual Studio. It's good.
I wonder if there's
Prod.
a test as well.
I love
Just
that.
prod.
It just opened another Visual Studio. What? Why?
Because it doesn't
Did
like
you do
the
that?
current one.
I guess so.
Oh,
think I'm
Shahruz
in.
joined.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
I'm in.
Cool.
Waiting for host approval.
Guest user. Okay. I don't know who that is, but
Probably me.
except read write. Screw it.
Yeah, that's me. Do I just not have a?
Stash, whatever I was doing.
This is interesting. I can see like your uncommitted changes here, I think.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah.
crap, that's cool.
I was like, I think I should stash these because it breaks things.
And are you running Tmux locally? Like, is that part of your local setup?
Yeah, does that show up as well?
Yeah,
Or
just
does
like
it-
as a process name in the terminal.
Oh,
So I think I can
interesting.
see your terminal logs too for this
Oh.
one process.
But if I detach Tmux, it'll show up as normal.
Yeah, I think I'm just seeing like an empty command line now, and then you wrote clear.
Okay, so it don't run Tmux basically.
No, I mean, it shows up either way. I was just
Oh,
curious
really?
if that was like something you were doing or if that was part of this whole
Oh.
live stream setup.
Oh, really? Like it'll show the Tmux and like me even like switching windows and stuff.
Yeah, I can see your terminal live. I think
Oh,
basically
that's
everything you're doing
cool.
within your VS Code window, we can see.
Okay. That's interesting. Does it allow you to edit too? Like, how does that work?
Let me go to the package.json.
Oh yeah, I can see you typing.
I'm gonna hit save.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
seemed
it
like it's
compiles on my machine too. That's
Crazy.
really, that's strange. That's
seems
seems kind of
dangerous.
dangerous.
Yeah, I guess that's where the high trust portion of this comes in. Like, it's not a public URL. Hopefully, a little more discernment there.
Yeah,
This is
so I
so
guess-
nuts though.
Yeah, I guess
Well,
before you start CodeTV, you have to like just give people the URL. Otherwise, like all of
Yeah.
a sudden you have like 10,000 people editing files on your computer.
Right. The other version of this is that we just either have like a Docker script that's just a fully self-contained instance that only has a Honeycombs repo, and you know
And then we
we're
can VS
resetting that
Code
thing.
into it.
Yeah, exactly. And preferably like it just stays on, but we can like reset instances for before CodeTV or whatever and roll back as needed.
Yeah.
Also would love to, I mean, this is kind of more blue sky, but I would love to see a plugin where you could stream the actual code and like all those changes real time to a browser. So somebody viewing could actually like, you know, copy paste and see it being edited real time, where it's being transmitted as text as opposed to video.
As video.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's another thing that the link that CJ sent me says that you can also try to join through the browser. I haven't tried that yet, but that looks like a potential thing here. We'll see I'm going to try it. I'll let you know how that goes. Because my VS Code apparently got corrupted by LiveShare. So.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, actually, I think that would be, it seems relatively feasible. You're saying like to have like essentially like man, Dave just keeps joining. There's like infinite Daves going into this.
I don't know what the hell it's doing.
So it seems like this extension is pretty janky.
Yeah.
I think in terms of like Shahruz, were you saying like even being able to like play with the live or like the most recent code version is like as soon as you like made some changes in React, just to have like the live thing available for people to like play with?
Sort of, yeah. I guess I'm just thinking more generally, like in addition to, or instead of streaming video out to people, and also instead of or in addition to streaming a full setup of code space,
Sure.
like if there was like a shareable URL that had like, hey, we're gonna open up this file, make these edits, and people could actually like see and play it around with it as though it were a live editor, but not necessarily with like all the terminal stuff, all the extra VS Code stuff, but just like here's files being edited and you can kind of play around with it. Might be pretty narrow use cases though, like a pretty specific niche
Like
form
live.
of streaming.
Yeah. Alrighty. So as far as this session goes, I think what is our goal? To do the upload stuff?
Yeah, we talked about the upload stuff and then potentially just dummying in a modal.
Modal. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea, Dave, like where you want that modal?
Yeah, so I can show you, like, we can look at Uniswap and how they're sort of doing things, and that, yeah, I think that's probably best, because we're going to kind of copy. I think we should copy. So like, yeah, connect the wallet up. We've got a different layout.
We'll take my testnet one.
Yeah, so all these modals that are popping up.
Wait, where? I didn't even see.
Like as an overlay, you were just using them.
Oh, wait, these?
So like, see the top right?
This?
Yeah, no,
Like before that, your connect
yeah,
wallet
so,
kind of screen.
Yeah, top right, that's what we've got in our bottom left right now, all this stuff
Yeah.
effectively.
Yeah.
Got Rinkeby, and then, so hit test. Weird. Do you have a subdomain set up on your?
Oh yeah, I do.
Did you just?
I
How did that work? Real quick.
so if you go to, I don't know what it is.
INS, and then you
INS.
just do reverse lookup and then hook it up to a subdomain.
So you can so if I switch this, so this domain is really managed. This is on a test network, so it didn't cost me anything. If I switch to the one that owns this, there's subdomains. So I added a subdomain, and then I gave ownership, the controller of this subdomain, to my other address, which is this one, and this one now has like control of this, and then I added the reverse lookup from there.
All right, I don't really get it, but
it's like a few layers of indirection kind of a thing.
I mean, so why? Just
why? Because when I was using,
you started getting confused.
Well, this is now on. It's using the mainnet provider instead of the other one. But previously, like, I just wanted to know, like, instead of this address, like, I guess if I go to my other one, I was just playing around with it to see.
Yeah, makes sense.
Right. I was just using my other wallet as my main one for like testing, whereas my like main wallet I have like a test one and a main one, basically.
Okay.
And the test one, I'm just like throwing like garbage in. Whereas the main one hopefully is like actual useful stuff.
You're keeping it clean, yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Like I'm doing so much like testing and just like sending random blocks out that like I need that not to like gunk up everything.
Yeah,
and
I think figuring out these patterns for testing is good. I'm sort of not building enough stuff right now, but I can feel it coming. But anyways, so the Uniswap stuff. So we have all this. Yeah. So effectively this thing, like if you do a transaction, it like has your transactions below, and then like there you can change priced impact is too high.
It's because it's on the test net, so it's like, no, you're not allowed to do this.
Yeah, you can't exchange 2,000 ETH. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
so I can do this, and it's like okay, like this.
Yeah,
kind of
so
like
they're I mean, yeah, all this stuff, and then, yeah, go ahead and confirm that.
Okay.
And then
confirm this too.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then close that out. You see the pending thing in the top right.
Oh.
So we've got a state there. And then pop that open. Then the recent transactions are at the bottom. So I think this is the best pattern I've seen on all of this, to like sort of stick this stuff somewhere, and then we don't have to think about it.
Like
they're testing it.
It's kind of unobtrusive.
Nice. Yeah, it like gets out of the way, but the stuff is available. And then, you know, they've got these little toasts and stuff like that. And then in the bottom right, there's like something on the page.
Oh, this thing down here.
Yeah, it has something to do with
the block number. Yeah, the current block number.
Okay, got it. So yeah, I don't know what that gives you. Like, that's just sort of a letting you know that it's this version of Uniswap, or I don't.
I guess like go ahead, Shahruz.
I think just to show that it's synced up to like the latest state on the blockchain. But it's definitely like a if you know kind of UI component.
Yeah, it's also really
so yeah.
small.
Anyways, the most basic version of this is just like having something you click test CJ.eth and then you get a modal, and then that pattern will show up all over the damn place. So it gives us a place to put stuff, you know. So here, like, you'd press that thing, and then, you know,
so it'd be like maybe separating out like disconnect wallet into something else, and then like have this like click into a modal, something like that.
Exactly. So, and then, you know, being able to close it and dismiss it, and whatever our like, I don't know what the best practice on that is, and I don't know that we need like an entire modal management system or anything yet, but or if we just prioritize like being able to dummy these things into the page really easily. And then once we have like a series of modals, like collapse that into some system to manage them. That's up to you guys, I guess. It's easier for me to just do one-offs, but
yeah, honestly, modals are things that I just like, I hate building. I think I've like manually built them in JavaScript before. I'm like, I hate this. So I would just go and find some React library and like it'll handle the whole modal thing instead of us having to build it. So it'd be like React modal.
That sounds like a
It's
good idea,
React modal.
especially
yeah.
Right.
just not having to worry about all that jazz.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it looks like it has 1 million weekly downloads, so like tons of people use this because they probably don't want to build modals either.
Yeah, like we should look through it and see how corrupt, like, because people like to abstract these things so much that like you end up with a bunch of Chrome. So it should be fine.
This looks like it's pretty simple. So it's like
Yeah, this one's fine.
It's like
It's also
define a
coming
thing.
from the React organization.
Oh, is it? Okay, cool.
Is it really? Oh,
Yeah, it's
Wow.
/React.js/React model.
oh, wow. Okay, for sure.
Nice.
So it's probably great.
Well, then here we go. It's
So we can now do. We're just gonna follow whatever is. Something. Get the types too. That should at least hopefully get rid of something in a sec. This is custom styles. So we need to bind to our app element. The fuck?
yeah, so that's probably all the way at the root.
Does
Where
this
the
need to
app
be
gets-
done at like everywhere, Shahruz? Are you familiar
think-
with this library?
I think the if you scroll back down just to make sure I'm not saying the wrong thing. So the React DOM.render, I think that's just part of like if you're setting up a React app from scratch,
Yeah.
that's the thing that like renders your entire app. So I
Right.
think we can skip that last line entirely because Next.js just kind of handles all that for us.
Hmm.
Okay.
What we need
and
is
even the
just, like-
setup element probably is fine.
Yeah, I think like for us, the line inside the render or the return statement, it's just like modal. Like that's the part that we kind of want to learn from and copy over.
Yeah, and even like probably this use
Yeah.
state stuff. So I'm just gonna copy this over into this for now. Set is open true. After open modal, do something with the colors. We'll probably take that out. But
Having those states in there is helpful for me because if I have any of that stuff dummied in, I can fool with it. Like as much stuff as is exposed as makes sense. Like, you know, I can add little flavored things in there.
Okay.
Confetti after you press everything.
so the whole thing is in this. It's in the disconnect button, but I want to kind of bring things out, I think. So I'm going to take out this. Oh, everything else disappeared.
Yeah, I'll restructure all that. It's up to the top right.
Sorry.
The
it's at the
stuff went
top
up to
right.
the top right because it's
Oh,
not
because
because currently
not,
the button is like positioned. This is where, yeah.
I'll just do. Can we just do like the dot? Oh shit. Whatever. Yeah, you can fix that later, right? there.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like, oh no. Okay. So I guess like we can probably add like some new button on this guy here.
Mhm.
So maybe instead of a div, we can create this as a button instead. And then this button will probably open the modal. Click. So here we're just adding the like function call for the button. So now it's going to open the modal. Right now we don't have a modal in the page at all. So now we need to add some modal. I think it doesn't matter where you put it because it's just not going to be displayed by default. And then we'll kind of add these properties similarly on after open. Because a dummy for now. Just gonna. So now we have some modal, and I guess I don't know. We can put like some header in it. Say this is a modal. So
Interesting.
no
Okay.
style for now. I guess I can style custom styles. I'm sure there's a bit more Next.js way to do this. Probably like instead of like styling it like this, my guess is like you would just do like class name and do it like how you have been doing it. And that should like functionally be the same.
I think with style JSX, it has trouble with class names that are a part of our component.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it works best with when you're putting in like divs or stands or like
Okay.
raw HTML in. What we do is I can type it right in here actually.
Like style this thing.
So like, do we want to style the inside, right?
Yes.
Or are we?
Yeah.
Okay. So like this H1, if we put a class name on this, that we can still style through the style JSX.
Okay.
For the modal itself, I think we might have to just pass in a style like JS object in line.
Yeah. So I guess something like this
Exactly.
would be. Yeah, actually, this is how I got used to styling things, except I would just do it in line instead of with constant like this. So I guess
Yeah,
we can just plop this in, and because I think that's just going to put it in the middle. So I don't know if there's a close button. We should probably add a close button somewhere in there too.
Yeah.
And I think now, oh wow, hey, there's a button. There's a modal. So
Cool.
at least that should give.
Oh, and it has like a backdrop and stuff like that. Like I guess all that stuff's programmed.
That's probably all of this, I'm guessing. Or
There might be
maybe
some
not, I
defaults
don't
that it's
know.
doing too that you can override here.
Yeah.
Like the
Yeah,
fact
yeah.
that it's a light tint instead of a dark one.
Yep.
I love the copy. This is a modal. It's very exciting. Make no mistake about what this is.
In the
Yeah.
biggest font you can choose.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that gives me enough to play with. Yeah. I mean, this gives us the
Okay.
modal. And then yeah, so like the Rinkeby stuff, I guess I can just move all that in. Yeah, I mean, from here, probably what I'll do is I'll get to the next place where I can't go any further, move buttons around, get it into like some comprehensive form. And then, you know, we've got a place to put like that pending stuff and, you know, all these
Okay.
kinds of things. We can, yeah, I mean, that would be my next move. Yeah, there's just some reshuffling and doing some sketches or whatever to get this stuff going. But we've got the structure of a modal, so I think we're good on that front.
Okay. Okay, cool. Trying to think.
I'm just getting distracted now by Chiaki Was Good though.
I mean,
the block. Yeah.
yeah, this one. I was like showing her like what this is like. Hey, like we have like the app fully built. So it was like she's like standing right next to me. I was like, hey, what's good?
Perfect.
Yeah, all the other ones are like me smashing my keyboard.
Yep.
Oh, I also like Dave corrals the feral beast. That's also good.
Dave tries to. He's the head of the feral beast though.
Yep.
Cool. So I guess then maybe next thing could be image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this thing
Okay, that looks
hopefully
nice.
opens up an image thing.
Cool.
Oh, nice.
I think you can drag and drop too. It doesn't, I don't have like any of the like state stuff really
Yeah. Yeah.
like wired in. So if I do this, I mean, it'll do like drop the image, you know,
It's fine.
but once you do that, it just doesn't do anything.
Is there
Um,
anything that's exposed, like a percentage meter or something like this?
Let's take a
Or
look. So this should be in block, and this is coming from, is this, actually, this might be edit block. Oops. Yeah, so it's coming from this package React drop zone.
Mhm.
You mean like a progress meter for the upload?
Yeah.
I think React Drop Zone just handles like the local browser side of things.
Hmm.
So it'll either have the image or it won't.
Okay.
Binary.
Yes, on drop, do something.
Progress would come from uploading to factory IPFS, right? And via factory IPFS to IPFS. I think most images are going to take like a second to upload. So
Yeah, it's fine. We could just do a spinner or something too in the meantime, which just shows some
just a
progress
yes, no
happening.
state. Yeah.
Yeah. What'd you call it? A what?
A yes, no state. Pass,
Okay.
pass, fail, binary.
Yep.
I guess like
Yes.
probably like when this happens, like is maybe add like some new state thing that says like, you know, is uploaded, and then like can display it. I don't know. I'm curious like what this is even going to output if I do it. It gives me a file. Tells me like the name of the file. I'm guessing there's like some way to take this file and like make a little like
Thumbnail.
thing out of it. Yeah. And just plop it in there too.
Yeah.
Yeah, show the
Um,
image inline basically, like
Yeah.
after upload. I mean, yeah.
I mean, it might be possible to directly do it too.
It is, yeah. Maybe I have that somewhere.
Is like if I just do like and then the images.
Looks
This
like you
would be
just
like an array.
I'll send a link. Looks pretty doable.
I feel like I've
Totally
been
not
party to
understand
implementing at least this pattern like 100 times.
Yeah.
I mean,
Someday it'll be
yep.
at the OS level. That day's
Oh,
coming.
I
Code
see.
pilot.
They're just
Make me an
they're just
image
setting the
uploader.
source of the thing. Yeah, so I'm thinking like this would be like something pretty similar. Like I don't think this is really React, but it should be like very similar. I think doing something like
Oh,
this.
true. Yeah,
So
like
I think
maybe
this would just be
make-
like set images, accepted files, and then where we actually like use images is, I guess we can just put it like somewhere inside this div, probably, and just say images.map. And do image. Source. I forget, I used image somewhere else, but I forget it. It's like Next.js image.
Yeah.
I recently made this change. So. Source all with height. Okay. this was working. Sure I got the, didn't get the package. Guessing I can just directly do image. I have no idea if this will work, but assuming it will. Okay, well, maybe it doesn't like that. Or with the hunt. Doesn't do that either. Because it's not instead. Testing thing. So that should show up. So I don't think it likes just having the image there. It seems like it doesn't like having the file as the source, so you might have to do that other thing.
Maybe specify the file.content and unwrap that somehow.
Done this on the on drop before. I think part of it is that that like URL, that create object URL.
Yeah.
thing, you want to do outside of your render, like outside the JSX. So if you do that within the kind of on drop functionality and just give yourself like a set files or set file. And then you see how the preview looked.
Has any type. It'll be actually a file. Oh, interesting.
So
Files.
yeah, I think
So-
you do the image thing because you're only accepting images.
Right. And then
But
instead, this would be like, we can do the map still, and then this would just be dot preview, I believe.
right, yeah, I think that's the difference.
So I might not like that.
And it might also just be easier to use the native image thing, just to, for the purpose of debugging, it gives you one less variable because Next.js's image stuff might have its own kind of preferences and stuff.
That's all. Oops. It does not like image dot preview. On type never. I set images. Do I need to return this?
So on your use state for images, you're feeding it an empty array here.
Yeah.
So TypeScript is kind of dumb and it just thinks that it should only ever accept an empty array. So you should define like kind of the structure of the TypeScript there.
So this, I can even do something like preview. Like that's
sure. There's also
actually
a
this needs to
syntax
be.
here. There's a, I'm going to try live coding here with you. There's
Yeah.
a syntax where you can do this like that.
And I guess it would be, and we can leave this as just an array on the inside and it should be fine.
Yeah.
Or can it even be empty and that'll still be fine?
I think maybe, yeah, I'm not sure. An empty array should be okay too.
Okay, let's try that first and see. And then I guess, what is URL.create object URL? Is this gonna create a URL object?
That's part of the same thing that John linked over. I think it's just kind of the HTML JavaScript way of extracting the kind of preview data from the uploaded file data.
Yeah.
It
Creates
might
a
just make
DOM
like
string.
yeah,
So
like
string should be good enough, theoretically.
I think so. I think I saw hi there.
Yeah, I had. Oops. Oh, we have another bug. Woohoo. Actually, that's the same bug.
Oh, you hard coded them.
Yeah, I did. Image is undefined.
What?
Maybe it doesn't like the empty array.
I forgot HTML.
Did I?
Oh God, there's like a Next.js like linter here that's telling you not to use the native image tag.
Yeah, it is doing that.
Weird.
It's also saying images is undefined. So I probably can wrap this because we can really only do this if images exists.
One other thing here. So the map is wrapped inside of curly brackets. So you need to specify a return statement in front of the image JSX.
Oops. Does not like this.
Yeah, and then I'm not sure
Key
why
prop. Maybe
this
I
instance of Next.js has like this weird lint requirement going on.
yeah. Missing key. So I guess I can just do like key. New index. It really doesn't like this.
Image is undefined. Is it saying the image inside of your source
This.
parameter is
I
undefined?
think it's saying in the map. Like as we're iterating through this array, like the actual, like it's just empty, I think is
Yeah.
what it's trying to say.
Maybe try doing a console log of image and index right above the return. Just to see.
Yeah, undefined.
So let's look at our set images.
Yeah. Do I need to be returning this object here? Or it should be implied, right?
Oh, that could be it, yeah.
Okay. There it goes. That looks better.
Yeah.
It's saying
We're
it's
getting it logged, but it's just not rendering.
file. I took
Commented
I
out, yeah.
commented it. Yeah. Oops. Yeah. So I think there was like in the log, it wasn't actually showing properly. It was still showing as a file and not.
Well, I think that should be fine. It's
Yeah.
weird that Next.js is forcing you to put everything through their image tag, because what Next.js wants to do anytime you specify an image tag is put it through its own like post-processing and optimization stuff, which you probably don't need for a file that's on the user's own computer.
There it goes.
In fact, like it wouldn't go through Next.js's flow there.
Yeah.
So I think that the challenge here is turning off this linter that won't let you use it.
What's their post processing doing?
So like if your browser supports WebP, it'll probably convert it to WebP to save on bandwidth,
Yep.
quality adjustments if you're on mobile, stuff like that.
That's interesting.
Did that turn the linter off? Still didn't turn the linter off. Oh, it probably, can I just not define what it? There we go. That works. And then I guess the only thing is probably, how is this getting displayed? They're using spans, which are, I wonder if I put the image in a span, if it'll do something nice. They have like some built-in CSS or something that's putting it like in the center by default.
I mean, I got some, that might work. Wait, so up above, feed me the image.
Oh, whoa. Oh,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
it's more just like, just also if images is there.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Like remove the drop zone effectively and then replace it with the image.
Oh, the problem is that this is not the correct syntax here, actually. Is drag active. It really needs to be images here. Actually, rather this. So the empty one is this one. Yeah. What the fuck did I do? Should be able to just drop this whole thing in, I think. Some reason it doesn't like that. Do I need to wrap this in something else?
Seems like there's like some
In a div.
brackets or parentheses that aren't matched up.
Yeah.
Does it need to be inside this empty tag? Is that the reason?
Does what part?
Like,
Oh yeah,
so this
I mean
is,
that could work. Yeah.
yeah, okay. Okay.
Cool.
So we have image preview too. I guess the next thing is on save now. We're going to want to like probably deal with this image and upload it to IPFS as well, or upload it to our yeah, basically put it on IPFS as well, right? With our whole block ideally. So we might need to modify some of the SDK here is what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and I feel like more or less we laid out the plan for that like last call. I haven't done anything with it since then, so we can kind of pick up right where it is and probably implement it together. That sounds good to everyone.
Yeah, I think that's good. So kind of like I'm just gonna try to draw out loud what I'm thinking, because
Yep.
I normally draw and I don't have an iPad that I can do things with and share. So this is gonna be interesting.
Do need to figure this out. I do the same thing.
Yeah,
So-
like I draw everything on paper.
I
Yeah.
was able to use my iPad, Apple Notes, and then on my computer it was updating in real time.
Oh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or pretty close to real time.
Oh,
like
that's right. I forgot
yeah,
you
so-
mentioned that.
That I think is like the route that I want to take with the IPFS bridge from Apple Notes, because if we can get into the iCloud account, then we can take that stream and like push it out to just a URL. It's going to be
Um,
maybe that's the trickiest part, but I think it would be almost real time.
Yeah, it's pretty close. I forget, why was I doing this? I don't know.
Well, you were fiddling with this anyway, and maybe you saw the pattern.
Yeah, I just noticed
Work.
it and I was like, oh, that works pretty like seamlessly.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah. There's also this app called Scribble. CJ, remember you and I using
Yeah,
it?
I do have
They-
Scribble.
They give you a URL that all this can load up.
Oh, is it a URL by default? Hold on.
Yeah,
Let me try.
they have a web browser
Let me-
that works pretty well.
I do like this pattern though, that if you can screen share it from your like local instance while you're working on the thing, the person driving it, like it gets into the video this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's cool too.
It does take quite a bit of time from
Yeah.
It's-
like
10
on the order of like
seconds.
10 seconds.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's about
Me so-
what I've seen for like up down sync on iCloud. Don't know.
It's not horrible
think-
though. If
True.
you can, yeah, I mean, if we'll just be on a little bit of a tape delay. Takes a little bit of time to
How much-
work things out if you're sketching too.
Yeah, I have to get a subscription. Oh man. Okay,
A
we're just gonna
subscription.
use notes for now. Does it scroll too? I guess we'll find out.
You might have to scroll it on your screen.
Yeah.
I think, if I'm not mistaken, it also kind of waits for
What's going on?
batches.
What's going on?
There's like
No,
the
I know,
keyboard popped up, but like I clearly do not want the keyboard. So I'm just like freaking out because I'm like, please do not give me the keyboard.
Doing it live. I guess you
Oh,
could
yeah.
just pipe all these sources through OBS and then you'd have like a super command center.
Yes. In the meantime, right now, I'm like setting up a replit environment and kind of seeing if we can get that to work. So that'll be one other potential avenue. It's NPM fucking around with that, but we'll see.
So there's two things. In this world, chain. Okay, it's slowly showing up.
I think it like syncs up only after you stop adding input. So there's probably some sort of cooldown timer. It's like 3 seconds of no
Yeah.
input, and then it pushes. So just keep that in mind.
Think so as well. Yeah, I noticed that. So really, like I think going to the SDK is like one thing. So like I'm imagining like, oh my Lord. One thing that I've not really done a lot with is file input stuff. So I don't know, like when we have, for example, like whatever we're displaying, even as the preview, like can we ship that directly off to the server as well? And is that fine? Or does it want something else? And how do we do that? Like, is it just a normal post request that it'll take that, or does it take something else?
It's a normal post request. I think there might be some special syntax for uploading files, just like how you
Okay.
structure that fetch post request. But yeah, I think the flow is basically you upload the image first. Did I just echo? Or
Yeah,
did
that
somebody
was
else talk?
weird.
Yeah.
Weird.
Sorry, yeah, that was me. Shahruz, to answer your question, yeah, my AirPods like decided to switch off. I was able to just do a form-based post request with the only basically the key value key is blank, or maybe I set it to the text data, and then value was the binary data of the file, and then that's just a post request. I don't think content type mattered either, and that was to the /upload URL.
Okay.
So
Do we-
basically, you do that first to get back a hash, and then that hash goes into your block metadata.
Right. And all of that is going to be handled by the SDK
Yeah.
effectively, or at least like that's what I'm imagining. So it's like, at least like on the side of like between honeycombs and the SDK is like, you're just saying like, oh, here's a block with an image and some, I guess, this binary data for the image. And then the SDK says, okay, great. We're going to upload binary data, and then upload the final like output of the JSON block. So that should be simple enough, like at least in terms of, there it is. At least in terms of like the SDK, it seems pretty simple to be like, okay, we know whatever's in the content field is going to be some binary data, and we're just gonna like raw push that to IPFS. It's just making sure that we have the right like format for it.
Yeah, and in terms of the format, like I guess given that it's a type image, I think the only thing I'm scared of is like, do we need to pass any data along with that to tell it about format? And given how like friendly browsers are to just binary image data, I think it's okay. We don't really care about the file name either because we have the context field for that. Dimensions maybe, but that's the extent of it, I think.
Yeah. So I think, let's see, I do think dimensions probably will be important in the future for images, definitely. Whether that's something we decide to specify now or not. I looked at the like metadata schema, at least a little piece of it. Let's see, I have, it's probably here. An image, like they just give like pretty much nothing. Especially like in this is like the ERC 721. I guess it's just image type.
Even that, I think, is
description.
optional.
And it's optional. It's like something that's image star. As long as it's image
nice
based, it's going to render in a browser.
I think
Okay,
basically
I think
IPFS will sniff out what the
That's
content
cool,
type is, looking at the header of the file automatically. And if it recognizes something, it'll automatically set that behind the scenes.
nice.
Because I think OpenSea as well. OpenSea metadata. It seems like that's what they said here, is like it can be any type of image, whatever, and can be IPFS URLs or paths. And they recommend a certain size, but other than that, there's like no restrictions. And I think as far as like I can see, they recommend 350 by 350. But other than that, like as long as that metadata exists, like OpenSea is just going to say, okay, like display it. So I mean, I think looking at this metadata, it could also be something like we want to consider as well, like whether blocks should conform to OpenSea /ERC 721 and 1155 standards. Because it does look like there's a somewhat standard way of like ERC 1155 has like a much more like almost generic way of defining this, where it's just like, okay, you can have an image, you have a description and a name, and then properties, you can just put whatever keys and values you want in. And that's like up to you to do something with. So I think like this is something to like look at and consider, because like it's almost like this is like almost our definition of a block already. And it's kind of being defined by like an open standard in a way.
Yeah, no, we can extend on top of it. So I think it might make sense to look at like what is a union of our schema and the kind of standard schema look like, and can we merge some names if that makes sense? But otherwise, like what extra stuff do we want? Like I do think that having image width and height stuff is really useful here, especially for clients, because if you can pass along like an aspect ratio or width and a height to a client, the browsers can optimize and prevent jank from like scrolling jank and stuff while it's loading. So just having that stuff in there would be really nice.
Yeah.
The more of that's exposed, the nicer your UI can be.
Right. And that at least should be, I guess that would be really nice, and like having a more like metadata friendly like SDK where you just say like shove some data in it and it's going to generate most of the metadata for you would be really nice. Because I guess probably even some of the metadata is possibly coming through. I guess I guess it doesn't look like it has height and width here, but like there's got to be some methods that allow for that on the browser side. 100%. Yeah. So I think adding all that in kind of makes sense. So I guess is this like some change that we want to make directly now, or for now, like the very first basic implementation is like just leave height and width completely off and just have like some like stick with our existing schema and everything, and just basically say like we'll reevaluate the schema going forward, and like change to be more friendly with like OpenC and these open standards. And like Shahruz mentioned, like this union kind of thing makes sense to me.
Makes sense here as well.
Okay.
Just have things be a little magical and like automatic for now, and then just get a little more specific as we get closer to what we want.
Okay.
Because I guess for now, yeah, what we really care about is like images just showing up in a stream in blocks, and we're definitely gonna have weird scaling issues, probably some once in a while encoding issues.
Yeah.
But we'll hit those when we do.
Yeah, if there's the raw stuff coming through in like a basic format, like I can corral some of that with CSS. It's not optimized or anything. You may have way too big files and stuff like that. But and then we start adding in the metadata, we can respond in the page or wherever viewport we have. Yeah.
I don't know if anybody's seen their blocks inside Rainbow yet. You get just the title.
What? Oh, that's
you can switch to Rinkeby inside Rainbow, and then it should show you all your stuff.
Oh, that's cool.
I should import my wallets into Rainbow, I guess, and check.
Yeah.
I mean, frankly, there's not much to look at yet, but as we like flesh this stuff out and get all the right metadata in there, it should start looking.
When you
cool.
click into it, are you able to see the extra details in JSON form?
Not yet, because I think we're not passing it along in the form that they read it, but we should be able to see like a description here. If we feed it an image, that'll show up here.
Nice. I
think it's just because we don't have much overlap with the schema that they're looking at yet.
That makes sense. Yeah.
And they're doing this as like a trophy case kind of thing, or like a collection.
Yeah, it's under the collectibles.
Got it.
Like section. So usually this would be like all your cool NFTs and all that. Yeah.
And the square thing, the 350 by 350 is what OpenSea is. Yeah, okay. And then
it's kind of comically low resolution.
Yeah, it is.
I know. I was like, what? I mean, it gets you started. There's you're building in future nostalgia here. Remember when there was no pixels in these things? So I like it. I miss those days. You can only have a meg, a maximum. This is why Tumblr was fun to play in, because they had these like, file size limits and stuff. And it gave you a natural constraint to be creative in.
Meantime, I think I've broken Replit.
You have?
Yeah. I've like
made a mess of
the. No, I think I just made a mess of like our account schema migration thing, where like now they think that my account is associated with Buzzard, and just deleting everything, restarting. It's fine. Like I don't think they meant for this.
So I have a question about
DDoSed. Setup.
Just took the whole thing down. That's fine. So like an SDK, like what is it like? How do you guys think about like building one, having one? Like so far, the theme has been like have it do as much as possible. You're just, like how do you think about an SDK? I'm trying to like, is it an entity? Is it like a protocol? Is it like, how does that, if the question makes sense?
I mean, personally, I just think of all the NPM packages that I ever use and install, and try to think about the ones that are the most like fun and comfortable and ergonomic. Just kind of do what I want it to do. Low config is good. Minimum amount of code that you have to manually write is good. There's a couple like organizations I can link to on GitHub that I think just have like really amazing setup around all this stuff. Like they're well documented. Their READMEs are nicely formatted. Their there's also a layer of like, if you're doing this stuff in TypeScript and then you're writing documentation in a specific way within your code, that will surface to other people that are using your SDK. So they get nice hinting, like as they're writing,
That's
it'll
cool.
like guide them.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I guess my answer is just like, there's some people that do it really well that you can kind of learn all their tricks from and try and replicate those. So I'll link to a couple of those.
Yeah, and so it's basically like creating a service for people who are going to be using it, and then okay. So it's a product design kind of mentality. The end product is just making something that's really, I mean, clear in the sense in like self-serve. Okay, that
I
makes sense.
tend to think a little bit more about online APIs and like integrations, where usually it's something that you interact with, but they have like a one-page doc that's like, here's how you get started. Just like, these are the 3 steps that'll get you to working with us. And then here are the pages where you actually dig into all the complexities and configurations that you might care about. But yeah, I think it's about keeping the surface area really small and like same defaults and just like a comfortable interface.
Got it.
It's also, I think, pretty like an underappreciated kind of like thing that people working within Web3 can and should be doing right now. Like, I think there's a lot of people doing cool protocol stuff, a lot of people doing like, their own UIs on top of it. But it's relatively rare still to come across SDKs that are like, hey, come and actually build on top of this platform, and we made that easy for you. I think it's one of I mean, theoretically, it's one of the best things that you can be doing right now to actually make it easy to onboard, new developers and people that have less experience with Web3, because you're kind of like abstracting away a lot of the kind of mess of it. And if they want to learn it, they can dig in, but they don't necessarily need to start building.
Yeah, I like that. I mean, this is the felt sense is like, if you can get like ingesting like a bunch of surfaces there, and then people, then blocks are coming into the system. Yeah, each of these things, like spitting them out, getting them in, querying them or whatever, you can make lots of little ridiculous apps with this, because there's all of this content to play with immediately in a format that's not overly complex. So yeah, I mean, it's cool.
I think another thing here is going to be like a whole family of various bridges that are like forkable and improvable by anybody, because they're all going to have to be open source. I think somebody could build a private bridge, but the contents of it are going to somewhere open anyway. So like if there's a kind of like the Obsidian plugin manager, where if it's like just an easy way for somebody without any technical experience to be like, oh, I can now connect my X service to this, and it's just happening transparently. And so you're not even really requiring people to like learn a new platform as much as just like connect it to their existing things.
Yeah, the modular nature of that, and then like having just like building out your toolkit from like a single client, and I still haven't wrapped my head around all this. I mean, it's like mods, I guess, in games. Yeah. And you combine certain types of mods, they just fall to pieces. So yeah.
And whoever's designing the game can like set it up in a way that it makes it easy to mod later on. Like that's a design decision, and that's the constraints that you put in and special considerations. So I think it's the same flow or a similar one.
That makes sense. Yeah, I just need to go study more game interfaces, I think, on how to handle these. Well, there's like, I guess the nature of the thing is it like falls apart gracefully or something. Or it's back to the primitives being good. Anyways, there. So cool. SDKs, got it.
I guess like a side note on SDKs, at least like from my perspective, I guess like Apple, I think like I've done a little bit of iOS programming, and like for me, they've provided like some of the best SDKs that I've seen in terms of just like ease of use. Like sometimes you run into a lot of frustrations because Apple like likes to lock things away as well. But in terms of like ease of use and sample code, like I think it's pretty unbeatable. Like I was able to get an AR application like written in a day, and from like having zero AR experience. So I think like when you can do that and get people to understand, like I think at least for me, that's a sign of a really amazing SDK. Is like if you're smashing your head into a wall for 3 days straight, like the SDK is totally broken.
Got it.
Yeah, it should feel like
Yeah.
you're giving somebody like some magic wand or some object of
Totally.
like crazy power that they just immediately are like, oh, I can do all this stuff now.
Yeah.
So it's like a cheat code.
Yeah. Yeah.
The like versions of this that I've played with allowed me to like copy and paste in an environment and then like not really understand how it all plums together, but like toss this here and oh, that's cool. That goes over here. You know, you get these little feedback things where it's you can just replicate what other people have done without having to do a bunch of setup and, you know, this kind of thing. So
Right.
got it.
And even I guess like, oh, go ahead, Kristen.
What's I don't know if I missed this part, the difference between an SDK and an API.
I guess so. An API would be the actual functionality.
Okay.
And usually that involves like a server, which could be a blockchain too. But basically an API would be like, this isn't a public interface where anybody can come and directly communicate with it and have it, you know, do certain things or store certain things. An SDK is it's short for software development kit.
Right.
So it's basically a layer on top of the API that's like, hey, let's actually make this user friendly. Let's maybe think about the specific context that you might be working in, so that instead of like, you know, figuring out what the raw request format looks like to an API, which might be slightly technical, we can make it, you know, seem like a little bit more like you're writing English and JavaScript and you're just doing like, you know, block.create or, you know, just something a little bit more literal and understandable. Whereas APIs, you might be thinking more about like URLs and like, you know, /API/create/block is just slightly more technical, gives you a little bit more of an opportunity to get things wrong. SDKs are like on rails, like it's guiding you, it's helping you out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Cross-platform abstraction layer.
I think maybe one example of like, I mean, I guess libraries, you can almost consider them to be SDKs in a way, like the modal library.
Totally.
Like I would say that was like a pretty good example. Like they provided one example of like, here's how you use this thing. And we literally just copied and pasted it like into our code and like just modified like a tiny little piece of it. And it all kind of just works out of the box.
For prototyping, I mean, it's the best way to get these things dummied together so that you can see these complex flows. Because this is the like upper limit on doing design prototyping and stuff in like Figma and these kinds of things. Like you're not able to use like real data. So you can't really feel what it's like. You have to just simulate it all the time. So the closer you can get to like actuating the thing that you're trying to create, the better you'll understand it and the more you can play. So that makes sense.
And then like in the kind of, sorry, real quick, in the grand kind of zoomed out kind of like how the web is built kind of stuff. If like a protocol is developed and an SDK ships on top of it, then you have other people building things using that SDK. I don't know if this is like a perfect metaphor, but it's kind of like, you know, building a foundation and building it on top of it and on top of it, on top of it. And that's kind of how the entire web has evolved of like at very low level, you've got like HTTP and, you know, how web services actually communicate and packets transmit across the internet. But then many, many layers above is where we're playing now. And we can do that thanks to that, you know, like we have Next.js and we have all these Web3 libraries and SDKs. And like, those are the foundations that we're building on top of now. And then hopefully we have a nice tower that's building on top of the buzzard and relational stuff too.
Right. Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting with those towers. I guess this is coming back down to like blockchain stuff and maybe stuff we've already like talked about a little bit, but it's like the layer one thing that people are talking about with blockchains is like very interesting because you are like building again from like what you consider to be like a base platform yet that is built on top of so many existing layers already.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, and I'm, the more I'm thinking about it, I'm actually planning on writing tomorrow, I think, more just like how I'm trying to conceptualize this in terms of computer hardware, because like I was in that world for like 15 years. Like I followed it since I was 10. So I'm like, okay, like how do I like conceptualize what's going on in the blockchain like that? Because it seems like there's a lot of parallels.
Yep.
So if you can make an easy translation between like, oh, the CPU is Ethereum or like whatever, then like maybe it's a little easier to understand for technical minded people or like people who have seen these things. Even at the like level of building a computer. If you like built a computer, like, oh, like now I kind of understand how this thing works.
Definitely.
So so I guess coming back to the like SDK, I added like another function which theoretically should upload the image to IPFS. John, what did you mention was the content type that you used? Was it image or is it binary or something?
Originally, I was doing image / JPEG because that was the one I was doing, but I think, can we do image / star? Is it literally going to accept that on our end based on the docs that we were looking at on IPFS?
I'm wondering, is the star necessary or not? I have no idea. I don't know enough about these.
Well, I always see content type as a pair with a slash, so that might be why. Basically, you're saying it's an image, and I'm not specifying the exact format.
Okay.
So let's try it, and then we can poke here if it doesn't work.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, like what I have it done as is it's going to take from block.content as the image data. So probably like when we create the block, we're just going to create the block and say the data in that block is this block content.
That makes a lot of sense.
Should be simple enough. Let me go this one more time. And the local NPM package stuff is really, I don't quite understand it yet. Hopefully this directly works. I don't know. So Shahruz, I made that library for a React component, and apparently like my problem was that I was just doing it locally. As soon as I published it to NPM and like used it from the NPM like on web, like my double React problem went away, and then like that's what it was. I couldn't get rid of the second copy of React, and I did like yarn link and like all this, and it still was like messed up.
There's something special in Lerna that you have to do where it's like hoist dependencies or something. I didn't totally understand it, but I managed to get it working on the camera mono repo, and then I was just like, I'm not going to touch this again because it's working, and it works even after a fresh install. So whatever I did, it's just working there. So if you're gonna implement Lerna, I would take a look at the package.json in the camera repo and just copy over the script.
Okay. Sounds good. I will definitely take a look and do that, because not having it local was pretty annoying. Like I set up storyboard and I was like, this totally works. Like, I don't know what's going on. And then, but that's really good to know. Hopefully install works. I guess we'll find out. And if it doesn't have the method, it doesn't have the method. Okay, so set images. So probably the only thing we need to change. Okay, save block is going to take the content from the field. The only thing is now we don't have a content field really. It's just going to be empty. I would like to change this eventually, but for now we can keep it. So maybe, I guess, one thing we can do is the block type. If this is image, we'll say we do something else. We'll say that this is really we should only have one image. So we'll say images. I don't know if this will work.
So complaining because could be, I guess images could be empty, maybe.
It could be empty.
Maybe you could do a pop. I don't know if that checks it.
check. I think it might still not be like that. Okay. The question mark. It doesn't like content possibly being undefined, I think, is the issue here. And I think this could be a less block.
Would it ever be undefined?
Actually, it's allowed to be an undefined string. However, string may not be the proper type here. Like, do we really need to be setting this as any instead of string?
So when we're shoving binary data into it, it's not a string, right? It actually does need to be like unencoded.
I think it's like capital F file in TypeScript world.
Oh, so we could also do something like string file.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see.
We could also theoretically just encode it to base 64 before passing it in, if we want to consistently do it as a string.
That might be nice because at least I'm imagining web API flows, and a lot of services tend to want that because once it's in base 64, it's like rock solid. Nobody's worried about encoding at all.
Yeah.
Do you think that still makes sense from like SDK standpoint as well? Because like that's something the SDK can do. So does it make sense for the user to base 64, like take the step to base 64 encode it, or is that a step on our side that we take?
Well, the SDK would still be doing that on our client side, right? Because Honeycombs here is base 64 encoding it, but so too would a like npm package. You just give it an image, a file. It itself is encoding into base 64 and then sending it off to our factory IPFS. What I'm saying is like the user doesn't really need to know unless they really want to send us a raw block, in which case then we tell them, oh yeah, we do accept base 64. But if they're using an SDK, then they're not looking at block content directly either. So it should be okay.
I think maybe what I'm saying is I think I understand from what you're saying, like in terms of like actually consuming the information, but more from like the creation side of things, I'm not quite getting. So I guess like by defining the type here as only string, it means, at least like what I'm assuming, like what we have in our interface, like our UI, would mean that someone would have to give us this like content encoded as base 64 in the first place. So like when we have this file, like wherever it is in the edit,
yep,
right, we have to now say like wherever it is to do a base 64 encode here, and then give it to the SDK, which will then like just ship it off to IPFS. Does it make sense to have that base 64 like done for every time someone's trying to ship a file to us, or does it make sense to just do that on the SDK side?
I see what you're saying, I think. So your right project is the block bridge.
Yes.
You're saying, should we do the base 64 encode in here or in Honeycombs, basically? On the front.
Yeah. Basically, whether it be on the client side or whether it be on the like development, like software development side.
My gut says client side because it's a near universal function, and most people, at least when looking at an API, are like, oh, it accepts base 64, okay. Like versus like sending an unencoded, or rather like an encoded but like file data stream, I feel like is a little more opaque, because I'm like, what is the server expecting? Is, you know, maybe they're on a different browser that like isn't as standardized, but I'm not sure. Like I see, yeah, like either way is valid here. I like the idea of a block only having strings though. I mean, that just keeps the schema a little more tight and defined.
There's also, I mean, if we were to put in on the SDK, like here's a function that will accept, you know, a base 64 encoded thing. We could always expand, you know, add another function to the SDK later that's like, hey, we also accept native file paths or file formats now.
Sure. Yeah.
I also think there's within the SDK, one thing that might open up some paths for us and make the SDK more user-friendly is if it's not necessarily requiring that things are being input in the block format, but is rather assembling that itself. That way it doesn't need to come in from the user side fully formatted and preformed. It can just be like, hey, here's my image data, here's my name, description, etc. You know, as another parameter, and then you can make sure that that conforms to the schema within the SDK by assembling it.
So I guess what I'm thinking, like what you're saying here, is like basically defining a class that has a bunch of like setters effectively in it, or just exposing like some parameters, and then it's up to whoever's consuming it to actually like set those parameters. And by the time they call like whatever, like send block to IPFS or whatever, like create the block, then like it's just taking that object that they created themselves, as opposed to like taking the fully formed object and just directly sending it off.
Yeah, it could be a class. It could also just be a single function that accepts, you know, an image parameter and then an object parameter that includes all the extra metadata. And then whatever you know, if that's like buzzer.postImage or relational.postImage, the first parameter could be your base 64 encoded string. The second parameter can be an object that has your, you know, your context and all the extra metadata that we have. I don't know if that makes sense, but I guess I'm trying to come at it from the approach of like, what is the quickest thing for the end user to write?
Right.
And that feels intuitive. So something like, you know, post image, passing along just the image data and then also the post data or the block data.
Right. So it could be something like, I guess I'm trying to like think about it like explicitly in code would be something like, you know, so you have like image, which is like some string data, and then you can say like, I don't know, like props, or I guess this, what's the text for this? Basically what I'm saying is like, just deconstruct whatever else, like you give in an OS block or something.
Yep.
So it sort of just like smushes the image into there and takes care of any conflicts that arise from actually accepting the image data.
Yeah, and it can throw an error if something's misformatted. But basically, I think what that allows us to do is that now when we're writing it in the Honeycombs client, it's a one-liner, which could be really nice.
Right. It's just having like it's like effectively like utility functions that are just like really nice for the user to use, instead of like forcing everything through this like one path, is like opening a few more paths, like expanding the surface area just to make it like a little bit more clean for the user.
Makes sense.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think for now, let's let us like base 64 it. I'll probably like clean up the SDK, or like that can be a task, like a more async task, is to like kind of clean up or like open up some new endpoints. And then we'll leave it as type string. So then base 64 encode on the client side beforehand for the time being. And even if we base 64 encode on the client side, like even if it's of type image, will that get decoded, or we also have to like unencode it as well?
I think we want to unencode it before we ship it to IPFS. Otherwise, IPFS will receive a string.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think it just feels a little bit strange to me, because we're just like encoding something and then unencoding it internally in JavaScript when JavaScript natively handles it. Like even if we weren't to encode it at all, like no one sees that encoding effectively. Like it never goes to IPFS, it never goes anywhere.
I mean, maybe we start with accepting a file, and then if we want to expand to base 64 later to add in more support.
Because I guess it theoretically could natively support base 64. It's just now up to the client side to unencode it, because they shipped it in as base 64.
We can also check the type within the same function of like, if type of if we're inside the post image function, we can say if type of content equals string, then decode the base64. Otherwise, just pass up the body directly.
Right. That also makes sense. Right. So instead, this could be like, I'm just gonna like probably dummy in some code. Block dot content type of this is sort. Is this the correct syntax? I don't quite know.
Might accept a actual string, so like quotes around.
Oh, okay.
Also, weirdly, this might work, but I've also seen type of being used without parentheses. It's like one of the odd JavaScript things where you just put like a space after it. That's how I've usually seen
That's
it,
odd.
but again, it is very odd. So if the parentheses thing works, that
Wait, I'm
nice
so curious whether like the prettier will take it out. It does. So if it's string, then it would be like, I don't know, the base 64. Okay, well that's easy.
Nice.
Content, and then you can say block dot content.
Do we also want to say if
Yes.
block type is image here?
A U8 array. Sorry.
Sorry, yeah. As an aside, but on line 109, do we also want to check for the block type to be in?
This is already at least like implicitly checked. I guess we can check it again.
Oh, upstream. Oh, okay. If it's handled upstream, that's fine.
Yeah. At least for now, this is like private API. Possibly like these things can get like publicized as well. Right now, it is forcing through that one point. So,
cool.
Yeah, I have a feeling this makes sense why it doesn't totally like this.
I think it's because you're changing the type of it, so you can.
Yeah, it doesn't like
essentially just do like a TS ignore or create a new block object that you're gonna basically fill in within that function.
Yeah, I think this is because it's decoding the base 64. It's becoming a UN8 array, so I think we'd have to do like a new file out of this.
Right,
is my guess. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what the syntax is.
I don't know what the syntax is for this. File name is not provided. Oh no, cat. I love you.
That's our CodeTV logo.
Yeah.
Cat on a keyboard.
He always shows up.
The cat programmed the whole thing.
Cat programmed the whole thing.
All right, somebody's got a function on Stack Overflow for turning a base 64 into a file object.
I was about to say, I'm just gonna like comment this out because it's not super important. What the? Okay.
I think this is data URL to file function is basically all you need.
Data URL. This one.
Yeah.
Whole thing is. It's all formatted. Messed up. Also should probably not be in class. Also, it doesn't like something else. What am I doing?
Oh wait, here's maybe a cleaner one. Sorry, it's in the same Stack Overflow, but it's much shorter.
This one.
Oh wait, no. Go down a little bit more. That one, yeah.
It's even in TypeScript. Great. I guess it's doing the base 64 already or no? Data URL. Data URL to file.
data URL would just be the base64 string. So maybe you need to convert that uint array back into a string. Or no, maybe you don't need to do the base64.decode here. Just pass in the string that you get.
That's my guess. Yeah. So. File name does not need to be. Sure. Okay. Theoretically should handle that too then. Now this still doesn't like this. Now it's fine. Okay, cool. And I guess, sorry.
Really quick, do you know if the pop function that's on line 34, does that pop modifies the original array, right?
It does, yeah.
So that might lead to some jankiness somewhere. So what you could do is, or no, you could leave the pop in there. That also works. Another trick that you could do is like just wrap images in an array and then do ... in front of images. And then what that'll do is basically make like a copy of it that won't modify the original.
That's nice.
So square bracket ... And then, no, so you want to wrap that just around images.
Just around images.
Yeah.
Like even the ... portion?
Yeah, including the ...
Oh, I see.
So basically what you're doing is you're destructuring images into a brand new array. So when the pop function happens, it's only modifying that brand new one. You're like making a copy of it essentially. I don't know if that's going to work well with conditionals actually.
Yeah, I don't think it
Yeah, sorry, might have been a bad idea.
No, I think it's a good idea. It's just not quite gonna work.
Maybe if block type equals image and images is not equal to undefined.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
Okay. So that'll take this guy. Also, since it's this object, are we just adding a preview like to the file itself? That's what's happening. Okay, okay. I didn't realize it was creating a new, essentially like just modifying or adding a new parameter to the object or like to the prototype or whatever. Okay. That also makes sense. So theoretically, like we can just ship this off as is and the whole thing gets binary encoded properly.
Theoretically.
Okay.
Let's see if it works. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So it should go there and it's going to upload instead of upload JSON. Okay. Theoretically, all of this works. Usually theory and practice are different, but that's okay. I almost want to like take a screenshot or like take a picture of my cat that's sitting right here.
Do it.
Can I get the camera I can.
I think the file picker, if you pull it up on your phone, it'll also give you an option to just pull up in your camera.
True, but I don't think you can off to the wallet right now.
Right.
On mobile.
Yeah.
But CJ, if you have Telegram, that's my go-to like easy snapshot app thing.
I can find a picture of the cat. I have tons of photos, so I can find a picture of a cat for sure. Oh wait. Oh my gosh. Actually, do we have the CodeTV logo? Is that like somewhere on YouTube?
I think I have it on my desktop. Yeah, I can drop it in Discord.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Make it base 64 first. Client side.
I guess it doesn't matter that much. I can also just like drop something. Oh, perfect.
Nice.
Yes. Save image.
You got to
does
build
this
your
save?
lore.
CodeTV.
Adorable.
Seems like the cat has its mouth full.
Amazing.
Full
Oh.
of code.
Full of code.
Cores.
What? How have we not run into that before?
I don't know. How are we not running into that with upload JSON as is?
Yeah.
Is
Hey, can you check the
text
network
working
tab? What's going on there? Like, where was that raised by?
Yeah, okay. That one works just fine. This bug is so funny. Bad gateway.
Okay.
Is the URL
Why not?
correct?
/upload looks right. Oh, okay. I may know what's going on here. So factory IPFS, when it's accepting something over /upload, it passes it over to the IPFS package, which expects a file object with either a content or a data field filled out. The problem is we're using an npm like upload manager package that fills in a temp path and something else. Basically, like it's giving IPFS a object that it has no idea what to do with, and that freaks out, and then and the whole upload process fails. So I figured out like a very small client side like fix workaround for this. It's like a couple lines. I think I still have it cached somewhere, so I can send that over. But it's basically a modification to factory IPFS, and specifically within the /upload flow.
Okay.
Probably that
Pull
it's
that up.
direct.files.files.data there.
I think that was
Accepting it in a specific way.
okay. I think it was specifically the fact that it was passing in to that like node.add. That thing, it generates an object that doesn't have a flag that is then, or like a field that is later checked by IPFS. I think the .files was okay, because I was looking at that, I was like, maybe that's a problem, but I don't think that was.
Yeah, it definitely looks wrong, but
Yeah,
okay.
it looked off. Yeah, but yeah, there's like weird nesting that's happening in that library.
Yeah.
Give me a sec here.
And this would throw the cross origin request?
That
That's the thing that's kind of like throwing me off here.
Yeah, so cross origin could be a different thing. I hit this when I was running the node locally, so I don't think I was cross. That could be a separate unrelated problem.
It could also just be some
because we weren't
weirdness
hitting it over
Server side. Can this work? Does this work? I never know about cores. I usually just am like,
Oh yeah, but
I never know what's
it's
going on.
all bad.
I'm always just like confused. Does this work? How do I
I
do
think
this?
if you maybe pass it along an asterisk, but again, I don't know.
Oh, asterisk, yeah.
Cores is like regex, where it's just like you're either gonna hit your head against the wall and make it work after like 20 minutes of just it not working. What?
This is when it gets really.
So drop my code snippet in. That's what I did to index.js in factory IPFS. I could also submit that as a quick PR if we want to just merge that in right now. But maybe CJ, if you want to,
I have this
switch
all.
the target to cool.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, I was just saying maybe if you want to download the factory IPFS repo if you don't have it, and just point your target to that local IPFS node for now for testing, and then try and isolate the cross origin issue by moving it to prod later.
Oh. Yeah, let me just try it here because this might be, if this works, then that's great. But I'm guessing it will.
Files dot data line above. Yep.
Should be fun. I'm missing another dot. And then add the pseudo file.
I don't know what to call it besides pseudo file.
Now I hopefully can get this thing to restart because that always seems to be a problem.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I remember this dance.
I don't remember. Forever list.
I think like yarn stop might handle it automatically.
Oh yeah. Forever stop zero. Does not.
Oh right,
because it's on two.
Yeah. Yarn forever list. Did you already try that?
Oh, now it's one because yarn stop killed the previous zero. Now it should be stopped. Okay. How's it? Yarn
I think
dev?
I can start.
Hopefully it works. Okay, it's alive. I think. Let me. Did I add? I think I did. It's doing. So okay. That should work, hopefully. And in the meantime, to boot up a local. I need to make that same change here. Okay. Okay. Is anyone able to hit this endpoint and see if it works? It's just not found.
Yeah, I still have some test data loaded up in Postman. Let me try. It's IPFS.buzzard.life. Yep.
Yeah, /upload.
CJ, I think it's not found because you don't have any get endpoints in the factory IPFS. So it's only ever going to return anything
It
into
should be a
post.
post. Does it need to be a get?
Oh, no, it should be a post. Sorry, yeah, but when you load it up in your browser, it's always going to show not found.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So I reproduced my previous Postman request, and I did get a 5OT back from Nginx. Any way to pull up the logs on your server and see what it's complaining about?
I don't know if it'll come here or if it's going to go to Nginx.
I think like yarn forever logs 0. Oh yeah, you got it. Or 1.
Just typed it wrong. Unexpected input.
Ooh, there's some interesting stuff here. Unexpected input. Okay, so that unexpected input is what led me to build the pseudo file.
Undefined.
Oh, so this is the other thing where in my body, I specified the key as data, value as binary data. But that's in a form. I'm not sure like where you are passing in. So this would be inside of factory
Yeah. This will be inside of block grids, right?
Yeah.
Instead of the
I
body
think I can give you
being block.content, you're saying it's like body and then like data.
Yeah, exactly. Let's try that. That looks
Why doesn't it look like this?
anything about
I thought it was like this. Is it?
data does not exist in blob.
I don't know if this helps or not, but I just looked at what I was doing on the camera post photo stuff, and I'm assembling a form data object, which might help here.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably what Postman is doing under the hood as well.
Yeah.
New form data, and then body append files. Okay. I think most of this is relatively similar. Oh wait,
Yeah, I think it's
fetch
just
all
the form
this.
data.
This is just body. We'll take that.
Yep.
And file, do we have? We don't have file, but we do have block that content. The rest of that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, I'm also, for what it's worth, never passing up content type or any headers.
Yeah, could be a
Mhm.
thing too. Oh wait, isn't that it? Oh, in mine here. You mean?
Oh my gosh. Hopefully that's enough.
Same thing.
Same thing, we can check the logs.
Ada.
Oh, it's in the, it's ADA. Not data. Can I do run forever restart? Does that work?
Maybe. I think I've tried it. Nice. Oh no. Did that work?
Honestly, I have no idea either.
So yeah, this is the thing that freaked me out last time, like circular dependency pad levels. Is this even our project or something else?
Something else.
Oh, I think that comes in from like forever. It's just like not been
So-
updated in a while or something.
Oh, okay. It's not the inside the log, it's the log display.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
And like whatever that was, our last was number 7. So hopefully we get number 8 or number 9.
Something's listening.
I'll read property of ADA from undefined, but that's
That was a
I-
previous request, right?
restart. Yeah, let me just kill it.
Well, I think it might be okay. Because if the last line.
Yeah,
says
I think the swarm
listening,
listening.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Okay.
think it's online.
Yeah, it's a restart.
So
Yeah.
did it just not even receive that last request? I think that's just it restarting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it picked up the change.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Like if it
Yeah.
cached it into like some memory or something.
Yeah.
Would it maybe help for now to just like throw up a new Tmux session and just do like npm run dev, just so we get like a more direct interface with factory IPFS process?
Yeah, I agree. Let me, since this is already up, I'll do that. But if it fails, then
Yeah.
we'll do the
Yeah,
dev.
just one more viewer dependencies.
Yep. Oh. Is it one now? No, everything's dead. Is it on the right port? Hopefully it's on the right port. Let me just check. I think the port might be wrong for the dev. Yeah. The port is wrong. Because I'm not forwarding that.
Where did that cute little one error modal come from on your local host?
I
Is that
think part of
React TypeScript DevTools?
probably part of React or Next. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Should be on the same. Let me make sure at least text is getting hit. Okay, that's fine.
That's good.
I don't refresh it because it's so janky. Can I read property data of undefined? So is the data not even coming
Oh,
over on
wait, that's
the client side? Like by the time this is hit,
maybe throw in an extra log statement in there. But yeah, I'm doing rec files data.data. That was working fine. But maybe dump the whole incoming.
Was it data.data or
on
sorry?
Yeah, content :request.files.data.data.
But it was files.files.
was it
Not
files
data.
of files?
I feel like it was double files, not double data necessarily.
Originally, yes. In the code snippet that I had working, what I ended up was files.data.data, but it very well maybe that.
You know what the difference is I think when you were setting up the form data, you set the key to data. Whereas we just set the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's files of files. But we are seeing it at least here,
Okay.
right? I think files data looks good.
Oh yeah, that's great. Yeah. Yep.
So it's just getting the name of the key consistent.
Yeah.
Which one do we want to write twice?
Okay.
Files.data makes some sort of sense, so I guess it's okay.
Oh man. Whoa, okay.
Hey, that actually seems good because now it's got an IPFS hash and it's just saying, I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
That's a good sign.
Because I guess probably it's shoving it directly in content and content has no idea what to do with it.
It's also just not a URL. It's just a hash.
Yeah.
It's just the hash, yeah. If I put the IPFS like : / will it resolve? I don't think so, right?
So to get IPFS URLs directly that way, you have to have like a daemon running on your machine and you have to have like Chrome extension.
Yeah, that's right.
So I always just swap it in with the IPFS IO gateway.
Yeah. Who is? Oh, so it's instantly setting just the content of the box as source. So we kind of need to get in between that process and tell it that like it's expecting a URL. I see.
This is probably in here. Oh man. Set block. Hopefully. Oh man. I don't know.
Well, where are you rendering the image here? Because I think if you just prefix the gateway URL,
yeah.
Right.
So, this guy.
So this display is completely separate from the edit block, and that's where we're doing that magical form replacement. And this one is just displaying it from IPFS.
Why does it not like these backticks? Is it just not required, or do I just do a plus instead?
No, you still need some curly braces there.
Oh, around.
Yeah, and then
So I can just do it
backtick.
here.
That works
That
too.
looks
I see.
right.
And this could be,
https ipfs.io/IPFS.
And you got an
Right.
exclamation point.
that rejected the transaction.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
that's hilarious. Correcting us.
this should be an easy fix though. I think next config, you just add like a whitelist of where it should pull images from.
We don't even have one of these yet.
Yeah. I try to avoid the image tags usually because it usually ends up being more trouble than it's
Interesting.
worth.
So what does this end up looking like? You
Let me
have
find
a
a config.
sample.
So it looks something like this, except instead of example.com here, probably IPFS.io.
Image.
My other question is when we're failing to build it here. Oh, interesting. Does this block actually get published anywhere, or is the block display process killing that before it's happening?
Sorry.
And that's what we're seeing here. Is that okay? Yeah. So in other words, the error that you're seeing, CJ, is like keeping it from actually getting sent off to like the final block data from being sent off at all.
Yeah.
You can
It's
see
being uploaded to IPFS though.
Yeah, that part's acceptable, but then we can't assemble the whole block. Oh yeah, okay.
It's just like it's erroring out like when it's trying to render that image, because now it knows like I could actually remove it and wait for it to be like fully confirmed on the blockchain before like trying to display that image, and it would also solve it, at least like for the time being, but eventually we'd still hit this because it's like an error on the
I was
file.
just wondering about the order of operations here. That makes sense.
You can kind of see there's like a log of MetaMask requests in the icon there.
Yeah, because I haven't rejected them.
Yeah.
So it's not happy with me.
There we go.
Wow.
Styling.
Styling. So style.
I mean, it degrades nicely. You can squash it. Works great. Perfect logo.
Perfect logo. So I guess this is where height and width become important to have in the metadata properties.
Yeah, there was a thing that it was yelling about. It had layout fill.
I think I should try that
instead of width and height.
Oh, it's or.
Yeah.
I don't know if that block actually went up or not, so who knows what's going to happen here. Well,
Mhm.
that's also interesting.
Well, there's that. I don't know what the hell that's doing.
It's also interesting that it doesn't
Why
have
there?
like this header stuff either.
Yeah, I wonder where that's happening. I guess.
Oh, I know why. I know
Wonder
why.
here,
I
sorry.
think.
Are we
Maybe
even
not.
posting that yet to the blockchain?
Yeah,
Are these being posted
it
without?
should be posted to the blockchain.
But like with the context and all the extra metadata? Or are we only uploading the image right now?
That's a good question. What the hell did we upload to IPFS? It is block.content.
Okay. So we do have
Wow.
other block metadata in there, theoretically.
I guess we can go to. So we could also order by date time. image. It is an image, and here's the content, which is the IPFS hash.
Context is blank, but you left that blank, so that's expected.
Yes,
Are you rendering the header conditionally based on the type potentially?
that's
That
what I was
sounds-
too.
Or is block text applying some crazy CSS? No, not like crazy, but like positionally. Maybe the content is hidden behind it, and it's like
Yeah, if you go in and inspect the image and then
oh, it's like actually still there.
yeah, just
but-
delete it.
Hmm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Nice.
that's funny. Okay,
that's what
Nice.
AI still does.
it's like the backside of the card.
Yeah.
Fills the parent.
That's,
Okay.
that's fun.
Interesting.
Oh,
That's
Very
fun.
weird.
Funny.
I don't know
What
what,
if you
it's-
wrap image in one more div?
That's probably what they want you to do.
It seems like this image tag is really a hassle.
Yeah.
It's very temperamental.
It still doesn't like that.
Wow.
Yeah, if you put it in block.text, make that div. Yeah.
It's
Weird.
I think it has to do with that whatever layout, like this layout parameter is, but I have no idea what that's meant
I
to
can
do.
mess with this too. So
What if I do all of it?
I am curious though, when you go to the URL of the image, just the image in IPFS, the parameters, or rather the ratios, I think going to look fine.
Yeah, it's mostly
which means we
forcing
could
it.
presumably, yeah. So we could extract the metadata from that and just like have like nice auto-sized stuff happen.
What if I do this?
Yeah. The
So-
native HTML image is so much more.
Wow.
Okay,
that
so
would be-
basically the
wow.
Next.js image tag is nice if you really want it to be optimized, but otherwise like
Yeah.
totally annoying.
yeah.
Right. That makes
The
sense.
main use case there is less for UGC and more for like marketing images that you may have like
Yeah.
gigantic PNGs up front
Yeah.
and then
Mhm.
not want 50 megabyte payloads for your users. So I think the image tag is probably mostly for that kind of use case.
So like integrating with their CDN stuff correctly
Yeah.
and just like auto-generating all the assets. Yeah.
Border medium absolute, it positions it absolute and then fills whatever parent it's in.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Hilarious.
weird.
I mean, sure, it makes sense. It's like, so the pattern here is like you would do this with like background images and stuff before and they're just abstracting it into this. I've never seen this. I mean, I'm sure like Twitter and stuff uses some weird things like this.
Yeah, well, that seems like it's the best option.
Mm-hmm.
It works.
Fine by me.
Okay. Well, now we have images.
Sick.
That's cool.
Sweet.
Time to spam the thing with
A bunch of images.
desktop
That's
images.
exactly what I was just
Yeah.
thinking.
Spam it with what? What kind of
Just-
images?
Just spam it, like
Just spam.
put as many, yeah.
It costs nothing.
See what happens.
Oh, it's just one image per block, and then we create an app that's like a block animator that like strings together a bunch of blocks
Ooh.
into an animation, and then we'll recreate
That's
GIFs
cool.
on the blockchain.
Wow.
Yes.
Raw blockchain
Presumably,
gifs.
a block might just be able to point to another block, and then if you loop them, then there you go, like a delay. You can like completely redefine frames like natively.
Added to the SDK.
What the heck? This is so weird.
Yeah.
This
I've
is
seen
so
in
strange.
Solidity, I've seen people that do like cool generative art stuff, like overriding the token URI. So
Okay.
Hmm.
as a response, instead of just being like, hey,
Whoa.
here's an image URL, it's like constructing an SVG inside Solidity that can look at like, what is the current block number? What is the current timestamp? So that way,
Interesting.
every
App.
time somebody reads from that, like, hey, what's the image URL? They're actually getting back like a dynamic, like
I
generated.
love that. That is so. I really want to play with this kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
exposing variables to like visuals to do this stuff seems so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I Do you have like any example projects on this, Shahruz? Because like I would love to look at some of the code because I've been trying to like look and find like a few, like
Yeah.
seeing the Urbit stuff was interesting. I'm like, okay, like
Yeah.
looking at that. Because I am very curious about like how this is being done and how we can also do it. Because I think the plant thing is like such a great idea. Like I really want to play with that. Like it seems like so much fun. And also like it probably people would be pretty interested in it because it's like a very like interesting like take on things. And if it could do something like that, is taking these variables and spinning it into
Yeah.
it, that's awesome.
Yeah, I'll post a couple
Agree.
examples. It really just comes down to like assembling an SVG string
Mhm.
within
Wow.
Solidity.
No shit.
Yeah, I can build primitives for that stuff. And then if we can figure out, yeah, I haven't done any like hand coding SVGs though. So we'd have to
Like
Well,
fiddle with that
deconstruct.
kind of thing.
You could export it from Figma, and then as long as you're
Yeah.
able to like, you know, be like, here's the
Fiddle
part
with the
where it needs to
variables.
fiddle with the variable. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean, I can definitely set up stuff for that.
cool.
Sweet.
Proposal for how to maybe wrap this session. Basically, like we have the image stuff reasonably solid right now. We can sort of commit that up, push it up to verse 2. And then there's one more issue that like kind of popped up after we added in React DNS names that is extremely sporadic depending on the environment. Basically, like Dave hit this on his laptop. I kind of like just took out the ENS stuff to allow the local host to run. It works fine on my machine, which is like really weird. And then I hit the same package issue on Replit. But if we
What is it?
want to maybe, it's
Oh.
essentially complaining about a function call. Like, and I can't quite tell whether it's having a problem with what's being returned from ENS, or it's actually even lower to where it's like the package is not being loaded into NPM right. It's like, I could basically just share my screen and we'll see it. But what might make most sense is if you commit all of this up so that we're going to be working from a consistent state. Because if we can get this issue on Replit figured out, then I think we can more or less do the shared code space on there next time. And that can sort of be our like master environment to try and get working instead of like this local dependency nightmare.
How do you preview it with Replit? Does it just give you like a preview, like how like a local host thing you can do?
Yeah, I just dumped the URL into Discord. Cool. So that's going to automatically update based on like code edits in our online editor live, which is pretty nifty. And so right now it's breaking, but like it's also a very tight feedback loop in terms of the code to URL.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess another option is we can just like
package directly as well.
Take out ENS temporarily. Yeah.
I took it out just from the rendering right now, but I didn't quite get what the error was.
It might. Totally. Let me send you a stack trace. Maybe you'll make more sense of it than I am. One second.
Oh,
there it is. Yep.
The hell?
Do keep in mind it might refresh because it's Replit is also constantly trying to rebuild this, so this will go away.
This is the same thing that you saw on Dave's laptop.
Yes. Yeah. So what's weird is like it's stuff from
using Yarn
level, like
or using NPM.
I did NPM install for the whole package, but when you do yarn add, Jesus, we went around on this a couple times. When you do yarn add React ENS name, it breaks GraphQL, and then you have to do NPM install GraphQL, and that breaks this.
Yarn doesn't work for me.
Well, yeah, I think using both at once is not a fix here because it's just overriding something or other. I feel like maybe the short-term solution is to strip out ENS name and like add it in a either.
Yeah, I should have stripped it out already.
Cool. And so right now Replit is pulling from burst 2. So as soon as you push up changes to that, in theory, we should pull that down.
There's something here, for sure. Oh, interesting. Co-authored by Shahruz, co-authored by Dave.
Oh,
Whoa. Whoa. Do I
That's
strip
cool.
that out or do I leave it? That's so
That's
interesting.
awesome.
That's so interesting.
It's the future.
There you go.
Oh. It really doesn't like this thing. What does it not like? What? Content string. Types of property content are incompatible.
I want to. Did you say you took the package specification out from package.json, or did you only take out the usage? Because this looks like a package dependency specification issue.
I think it's because it's getting loaded in block.tsx at the base level. Like if it's never, it never gets loaded. I don't think it's gonna ever get run, and it won't cause a problem.
Okay.
At least as far as
Cool.
I'm aware.
Yeah. So
yeah,
so you're gonna just try to cancel out the import, right?
there's a few errors that are happening here that
Cool.
it's not happy with them.
I
Oh,
also
it doesn't
linked
like
up
the file
Replit Pro, which is woo.
but it's also a text area. So
For
this,
I guess for the text area, you can do block.content as string just to override it. But I wonder if are the types out of sync?
I think because this content is not always string, like there's no enforcement that given text, like we'd almost have to like create a new type that would said like a text block or something, I think, to enforce the types properly.
Yep.
This other one, I'm not quite sure. I think it's not happy with the preview part of this. It's like, I don't know what to do with the preview string thing.
Got it.
What is preview string?
But I have a feeling that this also
second.
can be handled in.
A quick fix would just be as any, or you could do a TS ignore above the line.
I think I'm gonna do at TS signal.
Yeah.
I think for now that should be okay.
But there are ways of doing like cool union types within TypeScript. So you can say like if type equals text, it should have all this metadata. If type equals image, it has all this metadata. And they don't necessarily need to be like totally separate types.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And I think figuring I definitely I need to figure out, because I think one is like types have unions but interfaces don't. I forget which way it goes. Yeah, so definitely something to think about, I think, in the SDK. Oh, I have one problem. Hold on. I need to push the changes here first, I think. This is
Guess it might be possible. I can poke at this next, but might be able to set up replets for the block bridge as well and factory IPFS. So we, in theory, will just be able to have 3 replit windows open and have the entire environment editable and loadable. Possibly. There may be weird things, but I think this may work. Because yeah, like having this series of windows open like just makes my brain have a small panic attack. Just like, where is what being modified by who?
Yeah.
I need to upgrade the package. Oops. I guess I can do one. It really confused me having this be named node and then like, oh god.
Yeah.
This is
I'm gonna say our replit billing plan is currently going to be paid for by California's vaccine program.
what?
Thank you, California.
What?
Yeah,
they sent
what?
me $50 for getting a vaccine,
Oh.
so I just stuck in that credit card.
Oh,
Wow,
Perfect.
did I get $50? I want $50.
They kept spamming me a link. I could send you the URL. You just fill out some info and then they give you a virtual credit card.
All right. Well, Kristen, I can do it. That's another $100
Is this legit?
Yeah, we can fund Buzzard with this.
With the
with our
vaccine.
vaccine credits.
we just keep getting vaccinated.
Yeah.
Oh, this is Gavin Newsom's recall thing.
Oh, is it?
Gives everybody $50. They're less likely.
Oh,
Yes.
to vote for him.
Yeah,
Got it.
sounds right.
Stimulating the economy.
Yeah,
Keeping him out of-
did some rough
keeping him in the-
even like 10% of California accepts this, like so much money.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I probably should have checked that this works. before I did this. Yeah, it's just really, it's fine.
Nice.
I told John this, but right when we did our first the graph video, I like understood that it was very important and cool. And I'm like, okay, let's buy some tokens. And so I bought a stack, and it's up 74%. So
Solid.
you know, that's not too bad. That'll cover our hosting costs for a while.
Nice. I think
I figured we might need to use them.
actually,
Now they're too valuable to use.
I think I did something similar. I think we were talking about it. I was like,
Yeah.
oh man, like we're using this, might as well throw some in.
Yep.
Whoa.
So far that's great. I'm making money on this deal.
Yeah. So it looks like
Solid.
they sent me a unique code. I would just see if there's another flow that lets you put in your info, because I'm assuming that when that code is used. But yeah, it's weird that. Did anybody else receive this message? Like,
No.
or was it just me? Or did you all just like ignore it because it looked like
I
a
don't think I got
spam
it
thing?
at all.
Where, like,
I
you
didn't get it
gave
either.
them your email somewhere?
They validated it with. Yeah, I guess. No, hold on.
Take it to Six Flags.
I went to
Oh my
Walmart.
gosh.
All right, let's all go to Six Flags.
If you got your first vax between May 27th and July 18th.
Okay. I think I did it before.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
I think I did it before too.
Didn't realize that.
this is
I
bullshit.
guess I was
I know,
part
what
of
the
the
heck?
later crowd.
We're responsible, so we get
This is for the crowd
punished.
that was like.
We get punished with not $50.
Not $50.
Your taxes go up to give me $50.
Exactly.
Yeah, wait, we're paying for John's $50 here.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
that's $50.
We're paying
the
for the
world.
laggard.
This is how the world works.
Yes.
They
Makes perfect
faking
sense.
in. Wow.
I don't know if the replicate is fixed.
Is that gonna auto push?
So hold on. Double checking that.
At 20. Doesn't like something at 20. Is that 20?
So first off, I think let me give you all a invite URL so that anybody else sees everything here.
Maybe I need to clear my
Do
cache.
that. And then let me see if it tells me to like pull down changes or anything. So you've pushed up to burst 2?
It should be, yeah.
Cool. What's going on here?
No, you cannot have notifications.
Oh, yep. I'm seeing the ability to pull. So I'm pulling in changes now.
Okay.
we're gonna overwrite with the content from GitHub.
Okay.
That's compiling now.
Can't resolve React model. Really? Did I? Where's our page?
Oh, now it wants me to reconnect to GitHub. I think I know why, but who knows? Okay.
There's like a new npm install to happen.
Oh, yeah, is React modal in the package JSON?
It is.
Okay, let me just try to install the
I just
package
ran it as
one more
well.
time here.
I don't know. I don't know what's gonna
Okay.
happen.
No, yeah, then we can leave yours. Yeah, probably we're really dealing with one file system here, so
Looks like something.
I'll let yours finish and we should be able to use that.
Do I need to run it again?
Okay. And now do npm run dev, but not in console. So console is Replic's. Yeah, you're doing it in the right place.
Oh, man, I
Console is
just
Replic's
reloaded.
own console. Shell is like the base. That's fine. I think it's still running.
Oh man.
No. Okay.
This is so weird.
Try
Is there
npm
Tmux?
run dev.
Oh.
You might be able to install Tmux.
You think so? If that works,
try.
that's gonna be pretty funny.
I don't know how they would restrict it to.
Doesn't find.
Okay, so this can be resolved with npm install GraphQL, and I think what's happening there is because we're only doing like the GraphQL like a sub package, and that's not pulling in another dependency. But if we are fine with adding GraphQL to the package JSON, this issue should go in.
It looks like
as
it's
far as I
there.
can understand.
Unless
Yeah.
you added
Just
this.
added that.
Oh, you just added that?
Oh, but then yeah, why isn't it diffing that change? Unless in the very left tab, I think there's like a code commit thing, source control tab. Oh, sorry, no, inside of Replit, like on the left sidebar. So it should recognize your local changes here and give you the ability to push up.
Yeah, we'll
Let's
definitely
probably do that.
Just make sure
Cool.
everything
All right.
gets. Oh my gosh, I reloaded the page again.
And I tried wiring up the run button at the very top to do this, but it tries to install some sort of Replit specific packages and fails. So I'll try to dig into why that's happening.
So just
This
on a VM.
holy
slow.
shit.
Okay, well, this is interesting. I guess one other problem is I don't have MetaMask in Safari. Hello? And I like signed in on this or something. How does this work?
Wait. No. Take the URL from the iframe inside of Replit, not the command L.
Oh, I get it.
Keep going. It works.
What the heck?
Yeah, I think that's the
This
URL you
is-
want.
This is a lot.
Mhm.
I know. All right.
Oh no, I can't post an image.
What's happening? Hold on, make your window bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Accessibility is low currently.
Accessibility is low. Okay, let's see if we're gonna run into an error, just in case. Oh, nice. Wow.
Holy guacamole.
So meta. Wow, so meta. We have our contract displayed on
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
on buzzard.life.
Yep.
Wow.
But currently, the
This is
order of events there, it posts through. Did we have this before with the text stuff too? That like
Huh?
before you confirm in the wallet, it posts to the stream.
I think so. CJ, why don't you drop in
no.
text plugin?
No, I mean, yeah, it'll do it on the text block now, but there was a flow at some point where it took 30 seconds. There was also a flow where I had it
Oh, yeah.
wait until it was after. Like I just kind of changed the flow because it's like literally moving one line of code like up or down.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just curious.
So we can kind of do whatever. This double add bug is like really messed up. Like I don't know.
I can
how to
see
solve it.
a case
Well, I
where
haven't
like you can
checked it
have a
out.
bunch of blocks open.
True.
And then like
Drafts.
adding a, yeah, like I don't think that we should limit it to just one at a time, but we can.
No, I think it's not one at a time. I think the bigger thing is like the state is just not getting kept track of properly.
Yeah.
Um,
You're not clearing
and-
out previous blocks, or is that?
Unless they're submitted.
No, I think it's not getting added to like the overall zoo stand state. So it's like getting added to like, or the zoo stand, it initially adds it to the zoo stand state. And then we edit it all in that, like this other thing. And that state never gets like saved back to zoo stand. So when the page refreshes, it like does some like crazy stuff. Also I know
cleanup stuff.
Like I don't quite understand all this yet. Like I'm trying to wrap my head because I'm running into like lots of weird stuff. Like I was just playing around with it before. And like we have like block editing collapsed, like all of this, but all of this is really just like edit block view. Like it's this type, or I guess a block view is the type. So I wonder if it makes more sense to do something like where we just like maintain the state here and use the state for
So each one's independently kind of controlled.
yeah, instead of having it be independent, having it all part of one variable. But like I was noticing weird things with this, and I can't tell if I'm just like messing small things up or what, but it seems like also when the save happens, there's gonna have to be a new like ZooStand thing that says like update the state in ZooStand as well. And ZooStand is taking this block view state. So instead of like rebuilding the block view from all of these individual ones, I think it might make sense just to do one overall state. And then this removes like all of this dependency stuff as well.
Yeah. It might make sense to like do like a control flow kind of diagram or something in Figma at some point, just so we can kind of see like, here's where things get stored on the ZooStand, here's when things get put onto the blockchain.
That would be awesome.
I
that
would
might
very
also
much
help
enjoy
us.
this.
With organizing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm sure that would help me debugging it as well, just to like be like, oh, it's probably that thing.
Yeah,
Just good for everyone.
Help act out any of that stuff and go into the little side trails or whatever. I like doing that stuff. So
okay.
Yeah, and then like a style of visually communicating that, I would love to know how you guys best do that stuff, because I've never really landed on anything.
Yeah, I'd be curious. This feels like something, John, you might be really good at.
Just sort of drawing that map.
Yeah, like, because you understand the technical, but I don't know, you're good at abstracting up a level to explain things so that it's less technical, I guess.
Yeah, I think maybe if we just all hop in a Figma session, I can try to kind of drive within that, and then we all like give it our best explanation. Maybe try to merge all of that. I think that'd be fun.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, just where would we say? Oh, Benedict did one of these that he was handing off to a designer.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, anyways, I'm sure we can figure this out. It's not that tough.
Yeah, he ended up using Figma. What whimsical or something? What was it? Some other kind of, it's just a flow chart though. You could do it wherever. You could do it with notes too.
Yep, totally.
Yeah, I guess like previously, like I've done ones that are like flowcharty, as well as like, oh man, at Qualcomm, we would have like these huge call flow things that you just point arrows like going to different modules, and it got crazy if you didn't understand what was going on. So I don't think like, that's a very good representation. I think like blocks with arrows makes a lot more sense to me.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hopefully our stuff is not as complex as Qualcomm just yet.
Oh man, I think I will stop programming if it gets that complex. Or we need to take a step back and
Yeah,
and
there's
figure
no
out how to
need for it
simplify
to be that complex. Yeah.
Yes, agreed.
I think that's like why even like with Node, I get kind of like, what is going on? Because it's just like this overall like huge complex thing that's like so opaque, and I'm like, oh gosh, like I don't know what the fuck is going on in my system right now.
It's good for prototyping at first. And then you can build one from the ground up once you know what it's supposed to do.
Hmm.
From silicon all the way up.
From silicon all the way up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. We're gonna
Or a
become
biological
engineers too.
computer. Yeah, it's just got lungs and stuff. Cool.
Any objections to merging in burst 2, and I'll make a new branch for burst 3, and then have that loaded up in Replit. So I'll basically drop all the URLs for editing stuff into Discord, and
Cool.
there'll be weirdness, but we can sort it out as it comes up.
Cool.
Yeah, I
Alright.
think the Replit thing will work
I'm just
well.
gonna push one thing real fast.
I actually
just
pushed that
adding that.
from Replit.
Oh, you did the GraphQL package thing?
Yeah, I got that in.
Okay,
Yep,
cool.
yep, because it showed up in my
So,
Replit. So I got that through there. Yep.
See if
awesome.
it works.
Well, this was fun.
Wait. When
Everything's
the
gonna
live
collapse right now.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, the live show. So now that's totally separate. That's running off of CJ's computer, to
Oh,
my
yeah.
understanding. So that's probably
I
gonna
guess
die
I
as
can
well.
stop that.
Yeah.
Okay, there. Because when I tried to close it, it's like, do you want to save the files in here? And I don't know if I say don't save. That throws, it's very confusing. But who knows?
Yeah, but I don't think we're concerned with what's happening there. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the stuff that you just did, so like in Replit, and then the packaging, the package stuff, like should it work on my end now, or?
Yes, but go ahead and in about a second. Okay, so now if you pull down master, it should work there. So you can wipe your changes that pull out ENS and just check out master, git pull, possibly do one more install, but that should get you what you want.
Wow. Who's this guy? Okay, well, apparently I need to fix whatever's going wrong in that package, because there's now Shahruz and some other random dude paying attention to it. Someone else started it. I'm like, what the heck?
Oh, I was definitely one of them.
Yeah, and Nick Bites, engineering manager at True Work.
Who are you, Nick Bites?
Nick Bites.
What do you want?
Bites.eth.link. He does things. Espionage research. Interesting.
That's cool.
Trace for request module.
Okay.
Whatever the fuck that is. Yeah.
Slowly writing a modern espionage novel.
Oh.
And he's.
I
It
wonder
looks
if
like.
me starring it put it into like a GitHub feed.
I
and then
think
it's,
so.
Yeah,
I think so.
randomly popped up. Yes, so I'm still having the GraphQL language printer thing, but we can work it out later or figure out whatever we need to figure out. Cool.
Did it get pushed? Is it?
Maybe double check. Maybe the
Yeah, let me just check
possible
the
changes I
package.
had in Replit weren't the right.
Yeah,
Same
it
ones you
didn't
did.
go. It didn't
Ooh,
go.
okay.
As far as I can tell, I'm just gonna check out master and.
Yep. Drop it into there. That'd be good.
Is it main? It's master. Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I thought it was master.
Okay, cool. And then.
Oh, actually, what may have happened is I committed it but didn't push it from Replit. So
Yeah.
if you want to do it, go ahead.
I just pushed it directly in
Sweet.
master.
Perfect.
Hopefully it shows up.
Let's find out.
Hopefully I
Okay.
actually added it. Oh yeah, I did. Cool. For a second, I keep looking back at the Zoom and I just see like Dave and I'm like, what?
Why
Is
is he
Dave
sitting like that?
is Dave actually here?
Yeah,
That's such an interesting picture.
I think we've settled on like not having our video
Otherwise, it
kind of
breaks things.
saturate all of our bandwidth at once.
Mhm.
Yeah. Even here, like I'm like opening up GitHub and Replit, and I'm like, where's the slowness coming from? Like I can't tell what VMs are firing up, dying up. It's just like this cloud of computers.
It's working.
Yay!
Mission accomplished. Cool.
Sweet.
Okay, that's great. So we're gonna do burst 3.
Do we have any specific things for burst 3, or are we just going to decide that like another time?
I think most of the things that are still in building apply, like building.
Yeah.
We can probably take out a few things, but the rest of that list
Okay.
is more or less, orderly.
Yeah, I got my modal work on image states to fill in. I'll get all that. Yeah, that's plenty.
Yeah, I really want to fix the double
Match.
add bug. That's like, I think the thing that's like most on my list right now. I think there's other things, but that double add bug is like,
Driving you crazy.
it's driving me insane.
Mhm.
Because like it clears out, like if you add something, you add another one, and then your old stuff disappears in the edit. Like at least I would
Yeah.
expect the edit to have the content that you put in, but it doesn't. So
Yeah, any just expected behaviors, I guess, is where we're at with these things. Get them expected.
yeah.
Yeah, if you need to pair on that at all, if you need, because the states get all wonky or something in your head, I'm down.
Yeah, I think if you do want to do that like control flow thing, and we can kind of just go through like the code, diagram it out, and then like start poking at it with code as well and see what happens.
Cool.
Sweet.
Yeah, so do we want to set up to do that next?
Yeah, sure. I
Sounds
mean,
fun.
when's a good time for you? Like I'm free tomorrow.
Well,
Tomorrow afternoon, maybe like closer to 4 or 5 could work for me.
Sure.
Just double check here.
Yeah, should be fine.
Or a little bit better for me. I have something in the evening around like 6:30ish, but I can also duck out early.
Yeah, I've got to go around like probably around that same time.
So should we say 4? Like a expected time of like an hour and a half-ish.
Sure.
24 hours
Yeah.
from now.
mhm.
Start the clock.
Nice.
Yeah, we need one of those 24 from the TV thing.
Beep. Create a hardware device.
Mm-hmm. Create an NFT,
I think.
then it can grow.
Oh,
What?
well, in the same way that NFTs can grow, they can also self-destruct, which is
See?
a weird.
Yeah, I do like that pattern.
Yeah.
Oh man, can you make an NFT explode into many other NFTs?
Why not?
Yeah, I think so.
Sweet. That's kind of cool.
Yeah,
But
so
it's
that would be
shrapnel.
the flowering analogy. So the flower, like, yeah, has its spores. That would be
But
fun.
it has it's like a virus NFT contract where if
Mhm.
you buy one from
Mm.
somebody else, it creates a copy
Yeah.
of it.
Interesting.
Pretty cool.
And I think they just overwrote the destroy function to do nothing on the smart contract. So it just spreads itself.
Great.
That's
Like cancer override. Let it just
I
grow.
wonder if you
grow
could then
more.
create another contract that could find these things and then contain them somehow. It's an arms race.
BBC contract.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
PJ, do you have any thoughts as to what would be happening? I think my git commit flow lints, and lint is freaking out over importing relational OS block bridge.
What does it
Says
say?
cannot find module or its corresponding type declarations. But I don't
install at types / block bridge probably.
wait, what was it? Git. Sorry.
Actually, so like it would be just be like a normal npm install, and then I have no idea if this is gonna work, but usually
Sure.
when I get similar errors, I just do this. I don't know if this will work or not. It might just be missing the types.
Sounds like that's what's happening, and the lint's freaking out because of that.
Yeah, I think somebody has to actually push up a types package for that to work.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, but I think the right way of doing it is
I'm-
probably like just configuring what you're doing currently, just to make sure that it exports the types natively within that package. This
I can
like at types
quickly
flow is more for
share.
yeah, go ahead.
Because I do believe I have it configured to do that.
Okay, that's weird though.
So it might just, did you remove your node modules folder? Like, I'm guessing it could
No,
be something to do with
let
the
me do
package
that.
lock or like yarn lock
Probably.
or something.
Yeah, let me just do a full reset.
Because I have types being exported here as this index.js or index.d.ts.
Mhm.
Or maybe
Cool. I just ran install again.
.ts. Is this the problem? That's the problem. This needs to be a T, I think.
Oh.
Yeah. That's what that is.
We're pushing up that change to NPM currently.
It should be published on NPM now.
Cool.
You might need to upgrade the version to 1.1. But
Version of the
of Blockbridge.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll help or not. I think
Oh, well, yeah,
given
it's
the
the
arrow,
minimum, but
it
just to be
should.
safe. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. NPM always like I don't understand it on my machine. That's why I added yarn clean, is just to remove all the node modules, yarn lock, and reinstall from scratch.
Mhm.
Just because I
Got it.
keep running into like random weird issues, and I'm just like, I just don't want to deal with
Yeah.
it.
No, same. That's why I'm hoping to get like one online environment that's just like stable, and then yeah, because this is it's a big bug. It's a buzz skill. You know, you like sit down and like, I'm gonna do stuff, and then NPM's like, no, you're not. Fuck you.
I think after we get some of the kind of flow mapped out tomorrow, it might also make sense to start transitioning to a mono repo, which should solve like 99% of these problems. Which is
Yeah,
the setup.
That would be awesome.
it's gonna be a hassle to set up.
I mean, it can be just as finicky as all this stuff, but the nice thing is at that point, where our environment will be defined by the mono repo instead of just Replit or just your code spaces or wherever we're using. So it should be more portable at that point, but it might just be a little bit annoying to set up initially. But no more so than like dealing with this stuff now.
Yeah, it kind of contains things better.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. My NPM install is just like not even doing anything anymore, but that could be the internet here. So I will try shortly and dump the things into building when they are working.
What the hell is this interface?
Work switches.
Can I
Until
I
all
be
blockchain
infected?
Ethereum is blanketed in green.
Can I be infected? Can I
be
infect myself? Is that how this works? Oh, whoa.
Yeah, this was the thing. So like if you buy this on OpenSea from the current owner, they're still going to have a copy of it, but now you're also going to have a copy of it.
That's
Um,
cool.
That's amazing.
well, I don't have half a new Ethereum to spend, so
Right.
that's unfortunate.
Only they
Well.
took Rinkeby Ethereum.
Start a party
Uh-huh.
bid on getting infected.
Getting
Fractionalized
infected.
infections.
Infection party.
Mhm.
I guess this might be one interesting application of a party DAO thing, because then everybody does get to keep the native thing because you just pass it around.
Mhm.
You can infect
Oh, yeah.
anyone permissionlessly.
Weird.
Infect address.
Wow.
Oh.
In fact. It's the infector.
Insufficient funds for transaction. Oh, because it needs to be on the mainnet. Do I infect?
How much is it though?
I don't know. Let's find out.
We don't have anything in there.
Oh, no. I need to do this. Well, I guess it should be more than enough. Oh, I didn't. Am I not connected? It's showing an address. So I was like, oh, for sure. Okay, nice. Even it resolves everything. Cool.
What's their little doodads up at the top? Just
How much
looking
is
at
it? It's
everybody's-
$17 to infect myself. I don't know if I have $17 to infect myself, honestly.
It'll be cheaper to
That's
infect
pretty
yourself
fast,
later.
though.
Yeah.
It's just
Click
fast.
click your ETH address up there. Okay, it just goes to the Etherscan. What is the little icons next to it? Yeah.
What is this? This is like the auto-generated
Oh,
icon, I think.
Yeah.
Is that a copy
Seeing what
address
people are doing.
in between the dollar amount and your name? Is that just like a
Yeah.
copy button?
Yeah.
Oh,
What?
what?
The
What?
hell is this?
Why is there a private key
Private
button?
key. That seems great. Do that. Does it
I
show
mean, it
your
is a
private
virus.
key?
It shouldn't have
Yeah.
any mechanism to access it.
No.
No.
Is it a wallet thing that's built into this?
That's kind of what it seems like, but I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if you have to. Yeah, I don't really. This
Yeah,
seems
don't do it
sketchy.
while you're sharing your screen.
Well,
Yeah.
definitely not while I'm sharing my screen. I'm just wondering, like, do I even click the button? This seems sketchy. I guess if it wanted my private key, then it's already gone, because they could have just done it in the background.
Yeah.
But I'm like pretty sure. Let's click it and see what happens. Injected account, private key unknown.
I'm confused.
It might be if they're setting up like a burner wall
Is it any app?
dynamically for you.
Sorry.
You're just able to get your private key if it requests the right permissions from.
It doesn't ever
there's-
expose it.
There's no function
No,
call
yeah.
to
Yeah,
meta
there's
mask.
literally no API flow.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, that's nice. That's good.
So I think what that would be is if they're setting up a burner wallet for you
Mm.
within the page, that
Mm.
they'll know what the private key is because it's generated.
Interesting.
That feels safer.
I mean, it does feel sketchy as an UI though.
Wait, this virus. Wait, what? Hold on. It looks like it has like different. What? I'm so confused.
I love the amount of confusion in this call right now. It's
Mhm.
palpable.
So wait, it has ID and heart eyes and big sad mouth. So I wonder if there, like, how do you check if there's other versions? Is there a whole
Yeah, I
collection
think
if I do this?
click.
Oh, whoa, there's so many. Yo, I like this one. Whoa. What's the cheapest virus? This one. I see why.
I see why.
It's
This is so funny.
The images are just so shitty. They're just
It's
getting
like
worse
someone
and
literally
worse.
just like hacked emoji on top of it.
Yeah, there's all the like emoji generator things, and that code is just getting passed around. It's just becoming,
It is a
these
virus.
things are looking more and more like JPEGs, and they're like compression.
Oh, that'd be a fun like NFT project. Is like it just gets like crunchier and crunchier JPEGs.
Yeah.
Like more compression
Yeah.
artifacts.
Starts with the highest fidelity, and then it's a race to the bottom.
Just keep
Maybe
re-encoding.
you can send
the
it to a thing
JPEG.
that re-ups it, like
Mhm.
un-JPEGifies it somehow.
Yeah, sharpens,
Yeah.
contrast, all those things. Convert it to a GIF, switch it back over. Yeah,
Wonder if
all
you could do
types
like
of
a scratch off kind of thing.
Hmm.
Where every time you
Oh.
transfer it, like reveals a
A
little bit.
multi-person. Yeah. Whoa. That's interesting. Yes. You could require it to be sent like within X hours of receiving it to like boost how much you can scratch off to like capture viral spread.
Something there. Seems fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's like
yeah.
a treasure map thing you could do with that. Like group uncover the map, and then that uncovers another one. And there's like, there's a series of levels that, yeah, and then the scratch off like reveals enough to move to the next level or something like this. And there's some amount of buying in and some amount of swapping and all these other things. Yeah, that's cool. It's like a scavenger hunt kind of thing too.
Yeah.
That'd be so interesting.
It's crazy how early we are in this stuff that people haven't.
Yeah,
built.
I know.
Yeah.
These are like the simplest patterns on like game
Yeah.
design. Yeah, it's cool. All right.
Wow, interesting. I guess. I mean, it must be possible to have like legit scratch cards and just embed a certain amount of money into the contract, or like as people buy them, it just goes up like literally a lottery.
That's cool.
I guess it could be even something as simple as like get a transaction address that has 2 zeros in front of it, but then it would be like super difficult. So you have to like come up with some like weird pattern to actually
There
get
are
it.
some vanity Ethereum address generators.
Mm.
Like I set one up for gimmicks. That's like, one sec, let me find it. Has like 6 or 7 sevens at the beginning. It's just like I just want something that seems like a little fancy.
Noticeable. Yep.
Yeah. Just kind of makes people feel like, wait, what?
Is
Yeah,
this
just
real?
posting it in Discord, like there's the website where you basically say like I want an address that has a certain prefix or a suffix, and then it'll like start just randomly generating it until it finds you an address for that.
Does it discard the others? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I mean, because basically it's just like, generate a random private key, see what address it spits out. If the address isn't what it's looking for, go on to the next one. And it's doing that like multi-threaded, so it's generating, like hundreds or thousands per second. So depending on like what your prefix or suffix requirement is, it'll tell you like, hey, this one might be done in like 5 minutes. This one might be done in 24 hours or 7 days. And like, if you really go crazy, if you like put in, a specific address, like
It'll take forever.
Finish. It'll take forever. Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
it's out there hunting the perfect address.
What a world.
I wonder
Might
if
be
I
a
can
little bit- I don't
encode
know
my
if-
name into binary.
Y'all have done like Twilio stuff where you're reserving a phone number and you can like get a prefix or a suffix. It's a little similar to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never messed with any of that stuff. Cool.
Cool.
All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce. This was a good one. Thanks for driving,
good.
CJ.
Yep.
Yeah,
no
thank you.
Big
problem.
thanks.
No problem.
I'll try to clean up this package lock thing, the version types. I don't know. Maybe CJ, you and I can like poke at it sometime tomorrow before the call.
Sure. Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
something is going wrong somewhere. I can't tell. So it's not building on Vercel either.
Which one is now?
Latest source here. I'll drop the URL.
Okay. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, we can take a look at that later. But that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. Well, let's try to take a look tomorrow. We can. I mean, I might even take a look tonight if I have time. If I'm like just
Cool.
bored.
Yeah. I'll let my brain recover a little bit, but yeah, I might book it later too. For now, I need pizza.
Yeah.
Need.
There we go. Yeah. I'm pretty hungry. Ready to eat some pad thai.
All right.
And everyone's
Alright.
eating good stuff. What are you gonna eat, Shahruz?
I don't know yet. I'm at my parents' house, so we'll figure something out
Mm.
probably.
Ooh.
Whatever they're doing.
Cool.
Great.
All right.
All right.
Peace.
Cool.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.